All right, so we're here on a special edition of the NFL preview. Happy Labor Day to couch coaches and everybody around the world. This is a special Couch Coach Live NFL 2020 preview powered by the Off the Ball Network. I got my fellas here. First, I'm going to go around the horn. Our guy Steven from the Breaking the Game podcast. What's going on, Steven? Happy Labor Day, brother.
Hey, happy Labor Day to you, Couch Coach, and all the rest of my brethren for the Off the Ball network. Excuse me. Happy to be here. You know, you got me pulled away from basketball for football, so I hope you know how much I like you, man.
Absolutely. It's always a ringing endorsement. I'm always humbled by that. Hey, absolutely. Man. Then I got my guy, Coach Farr, from the Coach Farr Candid Camera. What's going on, man? Corner, pardon me. Corner. Wow, I can't read. I can't read, dog.
You all good. You all good, brother.
What's going on, Coach? Happy Labor Day.
So far, so good. Had my barbecue yesterday, and I had a fantasy draft for the family league yesterday, and now I'm doing the one for my candid league. So it's football and football.
Word, absolutely. Then I got our guy Jeff from the Jeff Needs Help podcast. What's going on, brother? Happy Labor Day.
Oh man, it's good to see you guys. This is a lot of fun. Football season's back. I feel like a fish thrown back in the water. I'm ready to go.
And last but definitely not least, my left coast brother, my guy Mo. Sometimes he can't be last because he a Cowboys fan, but hey, that's still my guy. He's still one of the guys I always have in the foxhole. What's going on, Mo? Happy Labor Day.
Hey, appreciate it, man. I'm just glad to be back with y'all boys, man. Y'all really have an idea. I'm at a little get together right now, but I got a few minutes, and I definitely y'all worth giving a few minutes of my time, man. So I definitely. And once I leave, I'm gonna check out what y'all got to say, man. 100%. So
absolutely,
I'm glad to be back.
Absolutely, we're glad for you to be back. And hey, man, we definitely glad that you're back, and you're gonna give us that flame, man. You can keep us honest, and you have us fussing at you. with your takes. So, but hey, we glad that you back, brother. So, and let's get it started, man. So let's talk about the AFC West. So I'm gonna go around the horn. So the AFC West winner will be, and I'm gonna start with Steven, since you're also a left coast guy. Who's gonna win the AFC West?
All right, well, I have in the West, obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs. If anyone has a team better than that, you know, I'm willing to cede to their expertise. But according to my calculations, I have them going 15-1 this year, and obviously making the playoffs and being a Super Bowl favorite.
Okay, Coach. Oh,
I'm just saying, plain and simple. He 100% is not.
Facts.
Ain't argue that.
Yeah, who you got, Coach?
AFC West. I mean,
yeah,
you can't go against Mahomes and company. You just can't.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, who you got in the AFC West?
Man, this is without a doubt the easiest one on the board. Now, I will say that I think the Denver Broncos are going to a big surprise, but not that big a surprise. I think 15-1 that's a reach, but only because, you know, when it gets down the stretch, it might be a resting player situation. But yeah, they're without a doubt the one seed in the AFC coming out of the West.
Yeah, Mo, who you got winning this West?
I'm right there with Steven. I'm kind of mad he was able to lead it off, but no matter who led it off, it was going to be plain and simple. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna go 14-2. Maybe even.
So I was way off.
but maybe even 13-3. Just like Jeff said, the only
13-3. I agree.
Yeah, if they play full strength all year, 15-1, Steven would not be out of the ballpark at all. He'd probably be 100% accurate. But just to rock on Jeff's point, I think like. If they decide to rest at 12-0, 13-0, they might win 1 to 2 of those last 3 to 4 games. So I'm gonna give them 14-2 just so. Yeah, I'm gonna go 14-2, but 15-1 ain't ridiculous. If they play full strength here, I don't really see nobody beating them. I wouldn't even get mad if we would have said 16-0.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a special guest. We'll get his take momentarily. We got Chris, you here?
I'm here.
What up, Chris LeBron? What up, son?
What
What
is
up?
going on?
What's
I
up?
just
Yes.
finished my show, so I had to join quick.
Yes,
Just finished
indeed.
off the podcast, so I had to make sure
Hey,
I joined the
man.
guys and talk some football.
Right, and you came just in the perfect time. So we're going around the horn now, talking about our AFC West predictions. So who you got winning the AFC West?
The AFC West, I think it's the Chiefs, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
You nailed it.
that Patrick Mahomes. Even
Yeah.
even though defensively they might struggle, but the offense is too good. And the Chargers are, they're in transition with maybe Herbert possibly taking over, so they're gonna go through their struggles. The Raiders, they're the Raiders, and the Broncos are another team with Drew Lock at the helm. Still young, you got some nice pieces. I do like them, but it's the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll go, say it was the Chiefs. I think they could probably be 13-3. I like this team. This team, and you think about now in a year, especially in a weird offseason where there's where continuity is really needed. Everybody's coming back, so that's another thing too.
That's
and to
huge.
go back to right, and to go to Jeff's point, there are some up and coming teams in the West. I look at Denver as the future, and I do see Las Vegas making some noise too. I think they now have somewhat of a normal schedule because I think last year, I think they didn't have a home game from September to almost November. They had a rough stretch last year. So I think now they have somewhat of a normal schedule. I don't think they have to go as east as much as they did in previous years. So I think this team is definitely, they're up and coming, but we know the Chiefs gonna win. I mean, it's almost like death taxes in the Chiefs winning in 2020.
Yeah, man.
But
Well, hey,
yeah.
Coach, I got a question for you for the West, right? I went through and I looked at every week and picked my winners for every week. So I got like my projected records for each team. For Vegas, I have them going 7-9. The Chargers, I have them 6-10, and then the Broncos, I got 5-11. Do y'all think that that's right on point, or?
I actually go the Broncos a little higher. I have the Broncos finishing in second in the
Okay,
division.
yeah, I got Vegas finishing second, but
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
Broncos second.
I like their defense. The defense is still solid. And like I said, I really like Drew Lock, and adding Jerry Jeudy, who's probably the best route runner in the class.
I
They
like
got
Jerry
KJ
Jeudy also.
They added KJ Hamler too out of Penn State, and they already have Cortland Sutton, who was a Pro Bowl last year. I like this team. They added the running back from the Chargers. I can't. think of his name
Melvin
off the top of my
Gordon,
head.
yeah.
Melvin Gordon. They added Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
You know what? So I like the Broncos team. I'm high on Drew Lock. Maybe that's why. I'm really high on
It's
Drew
the quarterback that makes me nervous about them.
Yeah.
For Vegas, though, like they got
think-
pieces, and plus Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs, to me, man, he looks. I think that he's
I
primed
don't
to take
trust
a big
Derek
leap this
Carr.
year.
I don't trust Derek Carr.
Yeah.
I don't.
And then I thought this team was, and you got to think about it, this team was 7-9 last year. So to me, there's got to be some form of improvement on this team, like you said, and like I think there can be a potential wild card team, which we'll talk about that later on. But yeah, I like that, and then I think Denver's up and coming. I think Denver within the next maybe 2 to 3 years, where they think they can compete with a Kansas City point for point once those guys come together, because that's going to be a potent offense. And I think Drew Lock is literally going to be the apple of John Elway's eye. Like,
Oh yeah,
he finally got it right. I think he got it right.
Finally,
Kind of like
He
Brock
might have got it right.
Osweiler, right?
No,
Oh,
no,
Delivery, man.
hell no.
Too soon.
No, I think he's gonna be a lot better. I think he's a lot better.
Well, we got this archived, so
Hey,
He looks like
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson from Twilight.
but yeah,
you mean
so
Batman,
let's
right?
You're
yeah,
right. He really did.
Nah, not bad.
yeah,
That is Batman.
So fellas, let's transition to the East and the division that our guy Jeff is immersed in with his Miami Dolphins.
Uh-oh.
So we'll go around the horn. So who will win the AFC East? I'm gonna go with Mo first.
Man, that's one of the toughest divisions to label who will win it. I like the Bills going into this year, but I like the Dolphins not starting Tua at the same time, because they're gonna give or take what Ryan Fitzpatrick gives them. And if he gives that Fitz magic and Tua ultimately takes over, then it's gonna be worth it. If they become dumpster juice for 1 year, then that's just what they become, and Tua gonna take over next year. The Patriots, I love Cam Newton. I love Cam Newton. I love black quarterbacks. So, but I'm gonna go with the Bills. I'm gonna just go the safe pick. I'm gonna go the Bills win the division. But in a surprise, I wouldn't be surprised if the Miami Dolphins win the division this year.
Whoa.
Oh. Whoa. Oh.
You been drinking at that cookout, bro?
Wow.
I'm back, baby.
Okay, Mo. Okay.
Okay.
So we got you for the Dolphins. Okay.
Yeah,
up in
I'm
flames
back.
with
So
that.
y'all know I'm ready to argue with y'all. I'm
The
back.
Dolphins. Okay.
What's the
You got a lot of pin-up aggression.
Yeah. So, and man, and
Flames with that one.
right, and the perfect segue. Jeff, now you're on the hot seat. Mo has predicted your team as the AFC East champion. Who you got winning this division, Jeff?
I hope Mo's right. I got Buffalo. I think they're a pretty good squad. I like Allen more than maybe a few people do. I'm probably on
I'm up there with Allen. I like
Yeah,
Allen.
yeah. I like the way.
Yeah, I
he plays.
like Josh Allen though. I really
Yeah.
do. That's
I
why
I just posted on Twitter like why is there so much animosity toward them? Why do people don't like? I know he's not the most perfect deep thrower like as far as accuracy, but man, he could throw it deep.
It's because he lost his first playoff game. I don't know why that's a big knock against
Yeah.
him.
That's Lamar Jackson. You lose the playoff game and then they forgot how good you are.
But I like Singletary. Their defense is
Yeah.
solid. Miami's on the long term plan. I think Miami's building a decent squad, but I don't even know. I don't know if they're going to push Tua this year. I kind of hope not.
No.
I'd rather 2 years from now Tua be in theory a Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson level as a young.
Oh, he's going to be good.
I hope so. So no, I'm still going with the Bills. But it's a terrible division. But New England might surprise people if you get Cam from 2016 Cam, like New England could go a long way. Like that was a bad.
Even
dude.
pre-injury from last year, he was all right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So Chris LeBron, who you got winning the AFC East?
I got
Hey,
Buffalo,
Chris.
man. Hey,
Chris.
what's up, Mo? I miss you, baby.
Hey, I don't want to cut y'all boys off, man. I told y'all I jump in. I just wanted to show face. I miss y'all boys. We gonna talk hoops, but I'm gonna get back to what I was doing, man. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's great to see you, Mo.
All right.
Much love, Mo. Y'all be
Yes,
good.
sir.
I'm gonna hit you
All right.
up after.
All right, Mo.
All right,
Take care.
all right,
brother.
y'all boys. Hey, y'all hit me up after, but we definitely gonna talk hoops. My bad, I gotta go, but hey,
That's all good.
Hey, enjoy your day,
It's
bro.
all good.
all right, y'all.
All right.
man.
All right, bro.
Yeah. So who you got winning the AFC East?
You know what? I went back and forth with this one because a part of me was like, do I count out the Patriots? I know TB12's not there, but I'm going with Buffalo. I like this Buffalo team. I like the offensive line. Singletary. They added Zach Moss from Utah. They got a nice 1-2 punch at the running back position. I love Josh Allen. They added Stephon Diggs. They got John Brown. I mean, they got Dawson Knox, who's an up-and-coming tight end. The defense, Tre'Davious White just got paid.
That's
He's probably
secondary, man.
He's probably the best corner, maybe behind Stephon Gilmore. I think he may be a little bit better than Stephon Gilmore overall, as far as a corner. But I like this team, this Buffalo team. I really do. I like what Sean McDermott's doing. I'll get into more with an award for him later. But this Buffalo team, I don't know. I just even if Brady had came back, I still think this Buffalo team would have got over the edge and
I agree.
take over. I think Josh Allen is being highly disrespected because they talk about his accuracy issues. They did the same thing. He's very Cam Newton like too. He's very Cam Newton like big dude who can run and
He's a
can
freak,
throw.
man.
He has that potential to be a Cam Newton like player. So I like Buffalo, man. I think Buffalo. They got the Dolphins are to me a few years away, but I do like what they're doing in Miami. The Jets. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah.
They're a football team.
They're a football team that plays against my other my favorite New York team in New York. But that's all I'll say about the Jets because I think the Jets they started off bad and then they won some games against some bad teams and they give people false hope. But this year they're awful. I feel bad for Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold could be a really good quarterback, but the structure there is awful. It is awful. Gase is not a good coach, and I won't be surprised if he's gone mid-season. So that's my take on the Jets. But the Bills, division winners.
Yeah. Coach, who you got?
Comparison's a good
Two coaches.
comparison
We
for
got
that
two coaches in the building.
Who you got, Coach Falk?
I'm sitting here listening to y'all, and I'm like,
Uh-oh.
All
He's
right.
going with the Eva Empire. Watch.
Who you got?
the
Who you got,
Jets are
Coach?
going to be exactly what y'all said. They're going to be the bottom.
Oh, okay.
I like the
I
Jets.
thought he was
I'm
coming in
from
hot.
Queens.
I thought,
Hold on.
Coach, you
hold
got
on.
me scared. I thought you were going to say the Jets. We're going to win the division.
Hold on. I'm from Queens. I got respect for the Jets, just not Adam Gase. He's not the guy.
Nah.
Nah.
False.
So that's where it is. Dolphins are going to be right there behind them. Actually, no, they'll win more games than the Dolphins. No, excuse me. I confused the Dolphins with the Jacksonville Jaguars just now.
No, the Jaguars
Okay.
are in a league of their own as far as being bad.
The bottom league of their own. I agree that the Bills are the heir apparent. I agree there.
But
And I agree that even if Brady was with the Patriots, they'd still be the heir apparent.
Yeah.
Where I differ is I believe that this particular Cam Newton is going to be a Cam Newton we haven't seen before.
ooh.
A Cam Newton under Bill Belichick. I got the Patriots coming out of that division, to be perfectly honest with you.
I wouldn't be shocked
Okay.
though. Honestly,
Yeah.
it wouldn't shock me at all.
You know,
It would not shock me.
again, if
Yeah.
the Bills do it, I'm not surprised. But something tells me, and I'll be perfectly frank here. Belichick been trying to get rid of Brady. It's Brady who was trying to stay because the owner was trying to keep him.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
Belichick
point.
been trying to move on.
Oh yeah, for sure. That goes back
So
to
this
the
stuff that-
Garoppolo.
to when he tore his
Yeah.
ACL.
Garoppolo, even Brissett for that matter.
Yeah, Brissett
Matt
too.
Castle.
Brissett was nice.
Matt Castle years he was trying
I
to
mean,
trade him.
Belichick saw something. He saw a paradigm shift. The one that's actually happening now, I feel like he saw this maybe 3-4 seasons ago and kind of wanted to position his team in that way. I mean, Garoppolo could move, so could Brissett.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now they got literally the video game other than Lamar Jackson
Yeah.
with the Belichick toolkit.
I like Belichick.
I kind of I see that.
I worry about the McDaniels part of it. I don't know if Cam and McDaniels
True, because he is
I might be
so
wrong.
agenda-driven, it's nuts, and he's kind of
Yep.
blinded by his own ego. Yeah. I
That
kind of hope Belichick get in his tail though, or eject.
Yeah, that Patriots passing game is so predicated on the receivers reading their routes and then throwing those dink and dunks, and then when you have a guy that's he's so differently talented than Brady as far as if his arm's back and everything,
He might
is he going to
make
want to throw
Daniels
7-yard out?
irrelevant.
But I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I just that concerns me, that relationship more than
He
anything.
might make Daniels irrelevant, and I don't see
That's
that.
what.
as being
That's
a
possible
But
too.
But I think that's a good match. I mean, I think that's good personally. I mean, to me, hell, he resurrected Jay Cutler's career in Denver.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. That's what,
So I look at it. That's
true.
one of the things
Yeah,
where
one
it's
more.
interesting. He's never really had a guy like that. So that's another thing too, where it makes it intriguing.
Yeah,
He
if
really
Dan
hasn't had a
Moore-
quarterback like him.
And I hope so. I want to say
He
that.
drafted
I hope so
Tebow.
too.
Love Cam.
He
Huh?
drafted Tebow too, and he wanted to
Okay.
run a system like that, like a sort of like a run heavy,
Right.
kind of-
Right.
Not saying
Right.
They
Tebow
had big
is Cam
receivers
Newton,
there
but
too.
No, I got you.
Right.
He wanted to, and when he was in Denver, and he didn't get to use Tebow because he got fired before that. But when they put in Tebow, that's kind of what he was thinking when he drafted Tebow was he wanted
Right.
And
to
to one
like with
last
Cam
point,
Newton. That's what he wanted to do. Yeah.
to one last point, the players named him captain.
Right.
That
That's
was
another
huge.
thing too.
Agreed.
Right. So Steven,
Yes, sir.
yes, who you got winning the AFC East?
Well, yeah, I think that I'm glad that Coach Fall came in and said the Patriots because I would hate for it to be a clean sweep for the Bills. I got the Bills, but only by one game. It's close. I don't think that
gonna
it's.
be close.
I don't think it's far and away. I have the Bills taking it at 9-7, and the Patriots are second at 8-8, based on the records and who they play. Right. I think that the Patriots are relying a lot on a head coach. You know what I mean? And even we saw it last year in Pittsburgh, right? Even though they have a great head coach, and they did as best as they possibly could with the pieces around them.
Yeah, but
you
they
still
didn't
need
have
talent on the.
Dodgers in them. Man.
Yeah, Duck Hodges. Yeah, that was a bad situation for them. And they,
No.
I think
But I'm saying they don't really have this. Like Sony Michel is nice. I like Sony Michel. I think that he's gonna have a big season for the Patriots this year. Yeah, the pieces around the quarterback.
Right.
Yeah,
right?
they don't have the pieces that
Yeah,
But what
and
pieces
I think a lot of
Carolina
this.
really have.
Well, Carolina had Steve Smith for a while.
Yeah,
Steve Smith, Greg Olson. Greg Olson's a nice tight end.
the running game. They relied on the running game a lot with Stewart and
Stewart and
D'Angelo
Williams.
for a lot of those years.
Williams and D'Angelo
And a young
Williams, yeah.
McCaffrey. Yeah, young McCaffrey.
Yep,
Don't
and
they
then
just
McCaffrey
do that with
yeah.
James White now and Burkhead now?
But they're not. It's not the same running.
It's not
style.
explosive, but
It's
at
not.
the end of the year, they got the numbers.
He's going to
at
be
the end of the
James
year.
White. James White's
But
gonna
my
be heavy
point,
in the pass game.
my point with the Patriots is that it's really relying a lot on the coaching more than it is the talent. Like if you hear like
This is
with the
Belichick's
Patriots,
biggest coaching year.
yeah, is
I hear
it going to be because of Bill Belichick, right? And a lot of the receivers and tight ends, they need to be developed. None of them are a finished project right now, except for Julian Edelman, and he's even declining. So the pieces around Cam Newton, this is the best situation for him because he's getting the best coaching that he's ever got. Like Ron Rivera is a nice coach. Excuse me, their couch coach. He's a nice coach, but he's not a Bill Belichick or a McDaniels,
I love
right?
Ron Rivera too.
Yeah, he's a good defensive coordinator in my eyes. I don't know about being a-
Offensively, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. No.
But this is the best situation that Cam probably could have asked for, money aside,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Like as far as playing opportunities.
He's just
goes.
setting himself up for a big payday if he has a big season. 'cause
But
you're
if you
right.
look on the flip side of the Bills, they actually have the pieces to be successful, and they got
that's
better
true.
this year. They got better this year by adding Stephon
and they don't got
Diggs.
to worry about Brady because they lost to the Patriots both times.
And
last
they got a
year.
running game to take pressure off of the passing game, and that defense is super
and Stephon
nice.
Diggs.
And
Yeah,
Stephon
that's what I'm
Diggs.
saying. Stephon Diggs is going to be a great target. It's a great
I like his
upgrade at
Buffalo
receiver.
team.
I
like
still
Sean
think that
McDermott
it's
too.
only a game away for the Patriots to take it, though. That being
Yeah.
said, because Allen still needs time to develop.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And yeah, I agree. I agree with. I think the Bills are going to win this division. I think Josh Allen's going to improve on his 58% completion percentage. I think that's going to happen. And I think the Buffalo did a great job last year. I mean, considering the fact if they would have just
Made
tackled,
playoffs.
if they would have sacked Deshaun Watson, they would have won that game. So you look at that, and then coupled with the Patriots. The only thing I don't like about the Patriots is it was 8 guys on the defense that opted out.
Yes, thank you. I meant to
Which-
mention that. Thank you.
And they lost
Which-
their best linebacker in high
That's another, because they lost Hightower, a couple
Van
other
Noy
guys.
went
but-
to the Dolphins.
yeah, and then Kinko went to Miami.
They lost a lot of guys to defensively.
Yeah, and that's another thing too because that was their calling card last
Yeah,
year
they rode
because
that.
Brady played horrible. So just the fact that Brady was played horrible and they still wanted it well, and they still end up going to the playoffs with that team, and they're losing most of their defense.
They still got
And-
pieces on the secondary to be good.
They still,
but
yeah,
that
they got.
front
Oh
seven,
yeah, Stephon Gilmore. Yeah, you can't go wrong with
The
the guy
McCurdy
having
brothers,
Gilmore
yeah.
there. And I think did Patrick Chung? He
he's still
And he
there.
opted out
Yeah, he-
too, I think.
Oh,
I think, yeah, Pat
thought
Chung,
he
he
was
opted
out.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, he opted out. Yes, I forgot because I knew it was. I think it was like 7 or 8 guys. But yeah, I think the Buffalo Bills. We're gonna play like 1995 in Western New York. I think this Bills team is gonna be phenomenal. I think this is another team, like you said, going back. You said that defense is just alarming. Like
That's what does
I
it for
mean,
me is the defense.
It's
Yeah,
like
that
San
defense
Francisco's
is
defense
physical.
on the west,
Yes.
on the East Coast.
yes, and it's and it's led by Leslie Frazier, great defensive coordinator. He's
Yes.
been there for
Tremendous
3
defensive
years.
coordinator.
Minnesota,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
So
He was
yeah,
there.
and and I think that's going to be the calling card of this, and them getting Josh Norman. I think Josh Norman's going to be huge
sir.
for them. I
Underrated
think, and that's like he
Opposite
finally fits
of
in their
White,
scheme.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
got
so
more
opposite
faith
of
in
White.
him than I do.
Yeah, I'm not on that.
As
well,
a
because-
second guy,
I sold
Well,
my
because
Norman stock.
because he's in the right scheme. Like when he was with us, he was just. I mean, they put him on the island.
It's
Like you
too
can't put that man
many.
on the island.
He's not an island cornerback.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
But
and then people was
no. But he said he was. He advertised.
He can say all he wants.
Yeah,
because he wants to
he
get paid.
said
like
that.
You're supposed to say that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
like,
John-
coach,
it's like-
coach,
it's like Richard Sherman.
coach,
Richard
coach. I
Sherman's
can
a
tell you
quarterback.
it's Tuesday, but it's Monday.
Exactly.
I can tell you.
I would have
can
believed
tell
you if you said it was
something,
Tuesday,
but
though.
don't mean it. Right. So that's so yeah. He can say all he wants to, but the film don't lie. And
My
she
wife
supposed to
is
say
sure
that,
a Washington fan, so I watch
Trust
them
me.
every week, every year. Trust me.
Oh, that's
I
why I
know.
was wondering why
I
you got
clowned
Giant
his butt when
stuff
he went there.
and Redskin. I was getting confused for a second.
Whoa,
Coach Fry, you-
football team stuff.
See, me. What?
Okay.
Okay, hey,
Because the
hey.
last time you were on the show, I meant to bring that up. Like, why does he have Giant stuff and Washington stuff? And I didn't bring it up, but now you explained it, and now I understand.
Yes.
Makes sense.
And you have to keep that. You have to.
You have to.
Wifey-
If wifey says yes. Exactly.
That's right. And she's doing a fantastic job. That's
Exactly.
great decor.
I love the belt.
She added that decor and it
I
brightened
talked
up the
about the
room.
belt earlier.
I love the belt, by the way. The World Heavyweight. That's my not to get on wrestling, but that's my favorite championship belt ever.
Right on.
Absolutely. So, guys, let's transition to the AFC North. Who wins the AFC North? Steven, AFC North.
Yeah, I got Yeah, real quick though, can I give you all my records for the East real quick, or do you just
No.
want me to shut up? No.
No, just shut up.
Just shut up. All right, cool. So the AFC East records, no, I'm just playing. The AFC North, I got the Ravens at 14-2 taking the North.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Coach, who you got?
Oh boy.
This is tougher than you think, though. This division, a little, especially at the top.
Bengals bottom.
Yes, agree.
Browns
Yep.
just above.
Yep.
Steelers and my Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens gonna win that joint.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going away just a little bit.
Yeah, I got the Steelers at 9-7.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Chris.
I mean, but they gotta solve the Big Ben issue like within the next 2 seasons.
That's
And that
that's
defense,
why
man.
it's tough. That's why
Yeah.
it's tough.
And their last couple of choices for quarterback.
They don't have no backup. They just picked up Dobbs again.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
he's
they're
not-
scared
And
to
Mason
draft a
Rudolph.
quarterback for him because they know he'll get
Yeah.
And they play pretty well to have a rotation of Ducky Hodges and Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
So if you get a healthy Big Ben, yeah, it's a.
I don't know
it's-
if his health.
That's a
is-
big if.
And that's the thing, and that's
It's like they
that's
hired
the
the cast for the replacement.
question. Right.
Keanu
Right.
Reeves at quarterback.
Johnny.
Right.
I was waiting for Shane Falco, like for real.
Yo, Falco!
Hey man.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
love
And
that
you know
movie
what?
so
and
much.
I wonder if like how Josh Dobbs would do.
True.
I don't know.
You know, because
Pittsburgh's wondering that too.
yeah, I mean, they let him go to Jacksonville.
They
and-
let him go, so like, how high are you on him? You don't let quarterbacks go if you're not. So
True.
I
The
don't- I don't-
Jaguars let you go, you probably shouldn't.
Right.
Exactly right. And Jaguars are getting rid of
You know.
everyone.
If Jay Gruden don't want you, no one wants you.
Exactly.
Pittsburgh's an opposite of like New England. That's a tough offense for a young quarterback because there's so much downfield
Yeah.
threat, and the plays are so long, and everything depends on Big Ben moving in the pocket. Not taking a sack. There's so much pressure on the quarterback
It's
in
gonna
that
be tough for them.
offense. It's big
really gonna
score. It's big score
Yeah.
offense. Man, there's a lot of pressure in the pocket.
Yeah. I mean,
So yeah,
it's tough. I mean, I have the Ravens winning this and 13-3. I think they come back and they come back stronger. I mean, they added Calais Campbell on the defensive side. It's another big time leader on there. To me, Hollywood Brown's he's gonna have a monster season with Lamar Jackson. They added their running backs. They got 4 deep. They go 4 deep at running back. They added J.K. Dobbins, from Ohio State. They got my guy Gus Edwards, who's from my high school, Tottenville High School, and was a Hurricane too. So I root for him. And Justice Hill too, who they took in the 3rd round last year.
Yep.
So and then Mark Ingram, who's the vet there, who doesn't like. We look at Mark Ingram and think he's old because he's 30, 31, but the carries. He doesn't have 31-year-old carries. Like
No.
his mileage is not a lot. So
Right.
they go 4 deep at running back.
don't know why I thought Ingram left.
4 deep at running back. Okay, so
I
there's
thought
6
that
deep.
too.
No, yeah, he's there. He's
He
the
there.
lead guy.
Yeah,
He's
he there.
there. They got I know they lost Marshall Yanda. It's gonna be a tough loss, but they got good bookends on the line, and they'll be fine there. And Mark Andrews emerged as another threat.
Yeah, losing Hayden was a big deal though for that offense. He was a big piece.
But they got Mark
Yeah, he
Andrews,
does,
and I think they'll still be fine. I think
Sure.
Mark Andrews takes that Kelsey Kittle type step. I think he's going to be that good. I'm really high on Mark Andrews. I don't know why he wasn't a higher draft pick because I thought he was a monster. So I'm really high on Mark Andrews. But to me, it's the Ravens, man. They're stacked, man. I think Lamar's is going to use that 0-2 chip, losing to the Chargers and then losing to the Titans last year as motivation. He's going to take his game to the next level, and I think they win the division. To me, the Steelers, Big Ben's injury is a big thing for me. Because their defense is really good, really, really good. They got a good defense, and that almost for a second, but then to me, too many holes offensively, especially with the quarterback. I don't trust Big Ben staying healthy for a whole year, and we saw how that went last year for them. They didn't make the playoffs, and to me, that's it. The Browns. The Browns are I like Ed Stefanski. I like the hire of Ed Stefanski. They should have hired him last year. He should have been the coach last year. But I think Odell does have a bounce back season. They have the pieces.
Quarterback.
They just I don't know. And then the Bengals.
That's who I don't trust. I don't trust the quarterback.
Nope.
And then the Bengals to me are years away before they're good. But I like
They
Joe
need
Burrow.
so much.
They have the pieces to be good in a few years, but to me they're
They on their way though. Yeah, they
They're
got
on
a
their
plan.
way.
They got a plan.
They
They're
got a plan.
they're like 2 seasons away.
Yeah, I mean, in football, we've seen teams take a 1-year turnaround, and so it could be next season they'll take that step. It's just Pittsburgh getting older, and with the Browns, we don't know what their team's gonna look like. So they could turn around and be the second best team in the division. But it's gonna be interesting. But I got the Ravens winning this.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Who's in it?
it's clearly the Ravens to take. I think Lamar will have less stats this season, but probably be more just as effective.
Correct.
I think the running backs will have their way. They're not going to run him like that every year of his career. He's too talented to go to that well, but he's fine. Their defense plays really well. It's coached really well. It's not as talented as a lot of defenses. I thought getting rid, when they just cut the safety. I can't remember.
Thomas.
Earl
yeah.
Thomas III.
I thought he was a huge weakness, and I think it showed up in the playoffs. If they can
He's not
get
the same player. He definitely wasn't the same
and
player.
if some of their receivers learn to play like San Francisco's receivers and do the blocking and the little things, and then if they buy in, that's definitely 13-3. I don't think is out of the question. They're definitely Super Bowl contenders, and the Browns got all the talent in the world. They could go either way with that team. And Steelers,
Yeah.
I think obviously Big Ben's a question. He can. I don't know. I guess it's hard for me to see him coming back and play 16 games, but
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Exactly.
And right. And mine's going to be the Ravens, but I would not be surprised if this is a 3-team race.
Yeah.
could be.
And I even said this even when they did the schedule. I look at that Pittsburgh Cleveland January 3rd. That could be the potential flex game.
Okay.
Who gets in as far as wild card? I love the Ravens. Of course, what they're doing, but I like the Steelers. I think if you have a healthy Big Ben, I definitely can improve on that 8-8. I think the Cleveland now with Stefanski's there, I think he's going to garner some garner leadership. And I was kind of didn't like the coaching hire in the beginning, but then once I did a little bit more homework and just getting in the nuts and bolts of what Stefanski really means and how revered he is in the Vikings organization. And now he got bookend tackles and Jack Conklin and then Tristan and the other kid was it? Huh?
No, worst went to
Is
the
it
Alabama kid Willis.
Yeah,
Jedrick
Jedrick Wills. Yeah. So you got those back in on your tackle, so you're protected on both sides of that line. And
Browns a little bit.
Yeah, and a
Yeah,
part
they
of me
got
is
a great
like,
roster.
and it's funny because I can see this team making the playoffs because everybody, the expectation last year was for them to make it. Now this year is like we kind of low the expectations. So
Better for them, though. The expectations are lower now.
low,
so
right,
It's not going to be a lot
right,
of Baker and Odell and all those guys.
right. And he's not gonna be on as many commercials as we seen him last season. So
Well, let's hope not.
I doubt he's not because his
My
value has
question
went
with
down.
the Browns is what is
Yeah.
COVID might have
where's
helped that.
Joku at? Because Joku it was supposed to be like their tight end of the future,
Yeah.
and he's not wanting to be there from
I
all
know,
accounts
and
that
they're
I've read.
loaded because you got Austin, because Austin Hooper's there now.
Yep.
Austin Hooper, so it's like,
But most really good teams have a
good
couple
tight
of good tight ends. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
so
like,
they can
if
fit him
you
in.
can get Joku to buy in and play,
That's going to be tough because Njoku,
Man, he was
he has a
on the
little
line.
bit of potential on Njoku, and I love him. He's a hurricane. I love him, but he hasn't lived up to that potential at all yet. You know,
I
he's
mean,
been a bit-
Yeah, hey,
it's Cleveland. I mean,
Oh,
Baker
Yeah.
Mayfield hasn't lived up to the potential yet either.
you know
the
what I'm
question
saying? You're only as good as the person
really
who
had
the ball.
Yep,
Right.
exactly right.
he
and
really
and if he, there's always a home for him in Washington D.C. You know,
Yeah.
I
I know
think,
Dallas.
know-
Dallas was looking at him.
I mean,
Nah,
hey,
actually, Evan Ingram,
he
I
would-
love you, though.
he would be a considerable upgrade
the
to
man.
Logan Thomas. So I mean, yeah. So it's a hard knock life in here in the Mid Atlantic. But
Man.
anyway, so let's talk. So fellas, let's talk about the AFC South.
this
The
division.
AFC South winner will be.
boy.
I'm gonna go with you, Jeff, first.
I'm going with Houston. I really believe in Watson, and I don't. I'm not a wide receiver guy, so the loss of
D Hop.
yeah,
D-Hop,
the loss of
yeah.
He's about to get paid, by the way. He's going to about to get a contract.
None of that bothers me. You can if you look at the Super Bowl teams year after year, it's not big name receivers. I don't really.
Well, they
care
added
about
Brandon
that.
Cooks, and they still got Fuller. So I mean, they
Well, yeah, no,
got,
they got. That's what I mean. They've
Fuller
got.
needs to stay healthy, though. He's always hurt.
that's a good point.
But I love Watson, and I think he's established himself last year as he's as good as we thought. And if he just
He
gets
just
a little
got
bit
paid.
better,
He's established.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's not a fluke at this point. I mean, yeah. His
just got
family's
paid.
established. His grandkids' families are established. But good for him. We'll find out about Bill O'Brien this year. They've got every reason to win this division, but we'll find out. I shouldn't be. Obviously, Tennessee is a good squad. I don't know. I'm probably too hard on them, but I don't think you can. I don't think you can have a 16-game season running the ball like they do in today's NFL. I could be wrong about that. Their defense is solid, so I'm
Their
still
defense is
going with
outstanding.
them. And Indianapolis, man, I tell you what, that team could be good.
Yeah.
Their defense, that defense,
Yes.
that defense.
It could be good. All we know is Jacksonville's not going to be good.
That's a fact.
That's a good
Yep.
point.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence might as well start picking out houses. I'm just saying.
Really get that real estate ready.
Yep.
I heard the boy might be staying.
No.
I've been
Well,
hearing.
no.
Hey,
Well,
and Justin
I've been
Fields-
hearing.
Justin
He was-
Fields could start.
I don't know.
Honestly,
Millions
Dabo
of dollars.
Dabo Sweeney would tell him, go. Go.
Oh, hey.
Silly. You're silly.
Especially
Go.
when you don't know what next year is going to look like for any league, you might as well grab that bag.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I've been hearing some rumors that he
never know.
might be
You never say
staying.
never. Listen, Matt Larner went back. I don't know why he went back. but
And
Matt
you're
Larner
right,
went
and
back.
that's another thing too. It just depends, but yeah. So I don't know, but Chris, who you got? Who you got winning the AFC South?
This is what's tough. I literally went back and forth all day at work trying to do this because literally there's 3 teams that can win this division.
Yeah, it's rough.
I think other than Jacksonville, everyone in this team can win a division. It wouldn't be shocking. But a lot of people are down on this team because they think that what the success last year will not duplicate for this year. But I think the Titans are going to win this division. And I like the defense. I think the defense is solid. They did add Clowney, even though I am not a Clowney fan.
Oh, we know.
I think he's very overrated, but it is a solid addition to this team. As a third down defensive end, help stop the run,
He's not going to be the guy on the defense, which is
No.
probably good for him.
which is good. They got some guys on that defensive line.
And that secondary, too,
and the
Burgess.
secondary still with Bayard.
Yeah.
He's one of the best safeties, but the offense to me, I think it's going to duplicate. I think AJ Brown to me is a superstar in the making.
Yeah.
I absolutely love AJ Brown. To me, he's going. Jonnu Smith is an up and coming tight end too. I like him, and to me, they got the offensive line is solid, and I think I think that with Henry back there, I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to find fine. I think the Colts. What I worry about them is the quarterbacks, and with the Texans, that just not having Hopkins, and I don't trust Bill O'Brien. So for me, I think the Titans win this division.
Okay.
Yeah. Coach, who you got winning the AFC South?
Well, it will not be the Colts. Let's see. I still like the Texans, to be perfectly honest. But I kind of hedge that because I don't necessarily like Bill O'Brien. I think he's a bit of a clown, but
Yeah, he's not a good coach, man.
nah, I don't think so either. Sorry, I'm still in the middle of my draft.
It's all good.
All right, so I just picked up Calais Campbell, and he's not a Jaguar, so they're not winning either. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I still feel like, especially, did y'all see the Deshaun interview when he got his bag?
Yeah.
Pardon
Yeah.
me, I saw a baby.
It's all good. Yeah.
Oh.
When he got his paper, I feel like his reaction, to me anyway, was a bit different. I think he's going to go into this and try to earn it,
Oh, yeah.
as opposed to how other players go in and relax now that they got it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's actually feeling like he's still got something to prove, and now the organization gave him the motivation to go prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I do believe he'll make whoever he's throwing to better. So they're not going far in the playoffs. I'm not saying all that. But if it's going to be between the Texans and the Titans, and I just got a feeling that the Texans are going to take it over that notch.
Yeah. Steven, you
Yeah.
about to be the lone wolf, brother.
Yeah, man. You
Let's-
know, you
let's
know where I
preview
was
it.
going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll work my way from the bottom up. I got the Jags going 1-15. They're beating the Bengals. I think is the team that I have them beating. The Titans, I have them 8-8 based off of their record. They got a tough schedule, a really, really tough schedule this year, and they're a young offense. That's what kind of worries me against that tough schedule. And you guys know that I'm the official president of the Ryan Hannity Quarterback Club, right? So like, I'm a big Tannehill guy. It's just a tough schedule. Second, I have the Texans at 10-6, and then at first place, I got the Colts at 11-5. I think adding Philip. I got them at 11-5.
Wow.
Because
11. Wait.
11-5. 11-5. That
Y'all caught
defense. That defense is super nice and getting better. Phillip Rivers, I'm not the biggest Phillip Rivers guy, which is why I have them like losing 5, possibly 6 games. I went more for the win than the loss, right? But I'm a big believer in that offense too. Mack is a great running back. I like Mack a lot. T.Y. Hilton is going to be has been a consistent receiver no matter who's throwing him the ball. So I really like that option for Phillip
I
Rivers
like
to
their
come
coach.
in. Yeah, their coach. I really like their coach too. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, I got them going 11-5 and winning the South this year by a game.
Rivers is he's a turnover quarterback now, and he's in his division has
They don't have a lot of weapons either on offense too.
and his division has 2 really pretty good defenses. Yeah, that's what worries me. I mean, I saw what he did in San Diego. San Diego's pretty talented, and he won 4 games last year.
I don't have them winning that many like within their division.
I got you.
Right.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of their other
think
games.
9-7 wins his division.
Outside of
9-7 wins his division. I believe.
Yeah, it'd be
And
tough.
yeah, and it's funny. So I got the Titans winning this division, but I can see Steven's point because now you think about it, he's reunited with Frank Wright, and remember Frank Wright was in San Diego when I think one of his best seasons was with under the tutelage of Frank Wright, and we call Frank Wright the quarterback whisperer, like essentially. So I can see that potentially happening. But I got the Titans winning this division. As far as what that is concerned, like you said, I can see the continuation of Ryan Tannehill continuing on his illustrious quarterback rating. Like some of the stuff is it when Steven is on someone's bandwagon, you kind of need to pay attention. So I looked at some of the stats. He has a 143 quarterback rate in play action passing. Like, and he has a running back that is a bell cow.
And they're
So when he draws back the pass, he's damn near perfect. Like
Yeah, and
if he's in play action. So
they had that
And they
win
got
streak last
freaky
year,
receivers too.
It was like 7
Right.
games or
AJ
whatever.
Brown, yeah, man.
and KJ Brown, yeah, they got
AJ Brown's
great
my guy, man. I
young
love AJ
receivers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tannehill was great in that last, I think, 7 games of the season.
Don't
Yeah.
sleep on Jonnu Smith too, man. Jonnu
Yeah.
Smith's an up and coming
Yeah.
tight end too, man.
And I looked at it. Then even in regular, I think he had like 117 quarterback rating.
he was
And
good.
I think he was good in those last.
And he played in Miami. I mean, like,
Right.
how much do you want to knock a guy for playing on that team with
Hey,
different
hey, don't
coaches?
disrespect
No, dude. He understand. Jeff know. Jeff, he know. We
Yeah, they
talk
gave
about
it-
this all the time. You can't have it when you got Joe Philbin 1 year, Adam
Yeah.
Gase the next.
Oh, Adam Gase just said it.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about Adam?
Kiss of
Not to
death,
get me
man.
started about Adam Gase, but Adam Gase gets all the credit for Peyton Manning and all this crap. Like please, I could be the offensive coordinator for Peyton Manning and look good. Like, come on now.
And they lost in that Super Bowl. They got destroyed in that Super Bowl. And I
Adam Gase.
remind you
Yeah,
that.
Gary
Yeah.
Kubiak too. I mean, come on now, won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Anyway,
right.
Peyton Manning was in the Super Bowl with freaking us as the coordinators. It didn't
Right.
matter. Like, he was winning that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Here's the game
And-
plan: Peyton Manning, throw the ball to the open receiver.
He's the coach. He's the coach.
Yeah,
And
He's
that's
the
why-
coordinator. He's
And
the
and that's
coach.
why and that's why he has a job. Because Peyton Manning
Peyton
gave him
Manning,
such that
right.
ringing endorsement.
Exactly.
And that's
They just
essentially
let
what
Adam
it is.
Gase trade every single good player he possibly has in Miami and New York, and they say he's a good coach. But he's not the issue.
Let's get rid of
The
Jamal
players are the
Adams.
issue, but yet he gets to trade every single good player that's been on the Jets and on Miami, but it's not him though.
Yeah.
goes.
Well, and he about to be next, so don't that's he next.
Oh,
Trust
Yeah,
me.
Tannehill. You can't knock a dude that converted from wide receiver to quarterback and then went and played in Miami and lost all of his pieces, and then called this season a fluke.
Yeah. So
Right, that's the
who are
AFC,
your
right?
who are your wild cards in the AFC? I'm gonna go with you first, Jeff. Your 3 wild cards.
So I had Tennessee for the reasons we just talked about, and then I actually I went through it, and I can't guess on injuries and things like that. So I actually think the Steelers are going to steal that last spot at probably 9-7, and I think the Broncos.
Ooh.
I think the Broncos are going to wild card spot
Okay.
just because of like Steven talked about. It's like who everybody plays, it's the schedules, who's beating who. You know the Broncos are losing 2 to Kansas City, but then they've got 4 other winnable games. That's huge. So I got the Tennessee, I got the Broncos, and I got the Steelers.
Yeah. Chris, your 3 AFC wild cards.
I'm
They're
going
properly valued.
the Steelers, the Colts, and the Broncos.
All right.
The Broncos twice. Okay.
I like the Broncos, man. I'm gonna say I'm a Drew Lock guy. I thought he should have been a first round pick. He should. I thought he was just that talented. I really like his game a lot. I know people worried about his the way he's a gunslinger, but I love that. I like quarterbacks that take chances. That's my type of quarterback. Brock. No, he was a statue though. Drew Lock is not a statue. That's the one thing. He is not. Brock Osweiler was a 6'8" statue, and didn't. For a guy that tall, you would think he would have a big time arm, but he didn't. Which didn't make sense. But no, I like the Broncos a lot this year. They're I like their weapons offensively, and the defense is still solid. They still got Von Miller. I know. And hopefully Bradley Chubb comes back healthy.
Oh, dude, he's such a
he
nice
blew out his
backer.
Yes.
he blew out his knee, so I
Pairing
hopefully
him
he
with
comes
Miller
back.
was just not
That's
fair.
to me, pass rush and to be able to run the ball. They got Melvin Gordon, they got Philip Lindsay still. So they got a nice solid
Change
back.
of pace, yeah.
Yeah, they got to take them up some. Their weapons have potential to be great. I really like Jerry Judy. He was my number one receiver. You know, he could run every route, and he's KJ Hamler is another potential guy. You know, that could be good for them. And like I said, they already got Cortland Sutton. I like Denver a lot. Noah Fant too, a tight end. They got some guys. So I like this Denver team a lot. The Steelers, I like because of the defense. Regardless of Big Ben, I think they'll get to that spot because the defense to me is tremendous. And for the Colts, I like the defense too for sure. So I think they'll do enough to get to that spot.
Steven, your 3 wild cards, sir.
Real quick, I just want to say the reason I'm not high on Denver, right? I got them going 5-11 this year. I just think they're too young at all the important offensive pieces. You know what I mean? Like they still gotta improve, you know, and gain experience at all those pieces in my eyes. Mm-hmm. But my 3 that I have are the Texans. I have them going 10-6 behind the Titans. I have the Steelers at 9-7 as my second team, and then I have the Patriots and the Titans both going 8-8. I went with the Titans because I think that they would hold like a tiebreaker between the teams, but it could easily be the Patriots in my eyes being that 3rd wild card team.
I could see that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my 3 wild cards are going to be the 5th seed is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers at 10-6. My 6th seed is going to be the Texans, and my final seed is the Raiders. The Raiders. Yes,
people don't know what that is anymore, man.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders. Wow, it's weird to say that.
That stadium is beautiful.
Oh boy,
beautiful!
Yes. It's amazing. I cannot wait to go out there.
It gets me mad as a Giants fan because our stadium is worth more, and yet it looks like a air conditioning unit. And it's just so plain. Like the Giants, it's really like when you play. Like remember, you used to be able to create your stadiums in Madden.
Oh yes, love that.
It's like you pick like the state of the art one. That's what the Raiders picked, and then the Giants pick generic, boring, regular stadium with nothing to it and no like roof. Like they don't even need a roof, and they got a roof. The Giants need a roof, and they didn't get one, and they share it with the Jets. But that's a whole nother. Show. I can go on for that, but that pisses me off too. But
do you think they got slot machines in their stadium?
Oh, that's the next thing. It's just the betting, man. Ooh,
right. I can't wait to go there next year when my squad goes to Las Vegas and tear the Raiders up.
Oh, the NFC East plays the AFC West next year?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And I know we got a date in Vegas, and I cannot wait.
They're smart, man. That was a smart move, man.
That city is gonna make so much money.
Yes, like it's
not even a basketball team. He's got to get a basketball team there next.
That'd be next.
I mean,
that's next. I really do think. I really believe that's true. Because they got the hockey team, you know, they got the football team. They just add the trifecta with the basketball team, and they'll Vegas will be the hot spot for sports.
Put one in Seattle, one in Vegas.
Seattle needs one too.
Move Memphis over to the. Yeah, we're making this a basketball.
That bothers me that Seattle doesn't. Not to get off topic, but Seattle not having a basketball team, it doesn't feel right. It's like New York not having a team. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right.
Right. So, fellas, let's talk about the NFC, guys.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna go back. So we're gonna go to the best division, the NFC West. No offense,
That's
Jeff.
my division.
Yeah, of course we're gonna start with our guy Steven. The NFC West winner will be
the state that I live in, Washington State, right now until the rest of this week. Seattle, it to me is the best team in this division. Mm-hmm. It's not by much, but I still think they take it. I have them going 14-2. I have the Niners going 13-3. I have the Rams breaking even at 8-8. And then I have the Cardinals at 3-13.
Ooh, really?
Really, really.
3-13, really?
Really, yeah.
Wow.
I've been wrong before, but I mean, I went through everybody's. Schedule. Not only are they in one of the toughest divisions already, but then they're outside of the division is pretty tough.
I was thinking more like 7-9, 6-10. To me, 3-13.
I could easily see the Rams in the.
They have no talent. To me, that's what 3-13 is.
I could see the Rams and the Cardinals flopping though. No one predicted the Niners taking that big jump last year.
I could see
right?
the Niners going back to
Exactly.
to being
It's
it.
Yeah,
really
Super Bowl
tough.
hangover.
Yeah, I could see
It's
that.
really
too.
it's really tough, but yeah, that's how I got it. I got Seattle leading the way this year.
Chris, who you
I got the same order. I got the Seahawks winning this division. To me, you got Russell Wilson. I mean, he's tremendous. I mean, he's just he does everything good. I mean, he's special. I mean, and to me, DK Metcalf. I wasn't
That's
high on
that
DK.
Yep.
DK, I was not high on DK coming in out of Ole Miss. I was higher on AJ Brown than I was on him. But DK, man, he's special. He's special.
He might be like Megatron special.
He's built like Megatron.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
built like Megatron, and that's scary. With Russell Wilson, they still got Tyler Lockett. You know, I can't think of the tight end's name, but the Thailand.
They got Greg Olson, and then they
They
got
added
Greg
Greg,
Olson.
but the other tight end who was I can't think of it. I just was.
It ends in LY. It's like McKisley or something
It's
like
a,
that.
it's a,
Oh,
it's a short name. Disley.
Disley, thank you.
Hisley,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Hisley.
He was solid too for them last year too. And then they got Carson, who was absolutely tremendous.
Yeah.
You got to stay healthy.
He's got to stay healthy.
True.
Yeah, that is a fact. He has to stay healthy. But they got Carlos Hyde, who just somehow
Yep,
finds a
don't
way on the
forget,
roster every single year, and somehow stays productive. He's a productive guy. But I like it's Russell Wilson. To me, is the difference in this team. I mean, he's tremendous, and I think he's finally going to take. He's been great, and he's been an MVP level, but I think he might take that next step and be that type of quarterback. But to me, the 49ers are going to take a little bit of a dip. I don't trust Garoppolo. I think
he's fine.
I don't trust the weapons too. Debo Samuel's solid, but to me, Debo Samuel is not a true number one. I think he's a two. His
What do you think of their rookie?
We don't know. Rookies with no camp and all that stuff, that's gonna be tough for wide receiver rookies. It's gonna be really tough for wide receiver to adjust. They're a run heavy team, as we know. Mostert, they still have Raheem Mostert, who they gave some money. And the defense is solid.
At first, yeah.
Because the defense is solid. They did lose DeForest Buckner to the Colts. There's going to be a big loss. I just think.
But they drafted the dude to replace him.
Kinlaw.
Yeah.
Kinlaw.
And
Kinlaw,
they
but
got,
he's not-
and they
he's
got
not
your
Buckner.
guy, coach, at
Trent.
tackle.
Yeah, Trent
Yeah,
Williams.
they
Yeah.
got-
They
But to
replaced
me,
Joe
that
Staley.
losing the Super Bowl the way they lost Super Bowl, we've seen this for teams how they don't recover. So with the Falcons, and I think they have a little bit of a hangover, and they're not as effective as they were last year. But I still think they'll finish second. The Rams, to me, are another team. I don't trust Goff. I really don't trust Goff. I love
Me either.
McVay. I don't. Goff to me is not. To me, he's not a top echelon quarterback.
He got paid too early, man.
The running back situation is up in there. I mean, losing Gurley, even though he wasn't the same, that's a big loss.
Yep.
The offensive line's a little bit older. Whitworth is getting old, is up there. He's 38 years old. He's getting old. The defense, they got Aaron Donald and stuff, but Ramsey,
We'll see.
he wants to get paid, and we don't know how he's going to react to all that. So the Rams are to me in the middle, and the Cardinals. I like the Cardinals, but to me, the division's too tough for them right now. I think they're a year or two away. They got to rebuild. They got to build that defense up a little bit more. But to me, Kyler Murray is special. I think he has potential to be a Russell Wilson type, player. I think he's that special. They gave him. I do like what they're giving him weapons. They got him Hopkins. They gave him a true number one. They still got Larry Legend. They still got Larry Fitzgerald there doing things.
Kirk is up and coming.
Christian Kirk. They got things there, but to me, the division's too tough right now for them to compete. But to me, Seahawks are the king of the division.
Jeff.
Yeah, I hate to be as boring, but I'm super high on Seattle. I think this is Russell Wilson's best receiving core he's had. I think it suits him very well. I think he's in the prime of Hall of Fame quarterback career. The defense is going to be good. Is going to be good enough. They always play fundamentally solid outside of
Wagner in the middle. I mean,
Jamal
super
Adams.
tough division. But even last year we saw.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot they got Jamal Adams. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. I feel good about where they're at. I actually like the Rams a lot better than you guys. I think that they're back from their Super Bowl year. I kind of
hope
agree
so, man.
with that. With whatever that Super Bowl downer is that they went through, just like we're talking about San Francisco, which is why I flipped the two in the division. I think the Rams. I think their defense will, settle down a little bit. Injuries hurt them last year. Goff needs everybody on the field and injuries, and then the whole the running Gurley situation that was weird. We still don't know we'll find out this year.
Yeah, they got a young guys. They got the the rookie who
Oh no, I'm
Swift,
huge on
Akers,
Oh,
Akers,
yeah,
Huge on
Cam
Akers,
Akers. Cam Akers from Florida
huge on
State.
Akers.
and Henderson last year they drafted who they're high on. I mean, they got two young guys, but it's not Todd Gurley though.
And
They
I
need a
love
trade
San
for
Francisco.
Kamara.
Somebody's got to finish third. They might be
They
the
don't have
best third.
first-round picks. They always trade them every year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
San
we got
Francisco
some
might be the
seconds
best
and
third
thirds.
place division team in history. Arizona's fine. They're going to be fun to watch. They're going to look really good, and they're probably going to win 5 games. But they're going to ruin somebody's season, or you know what I mean, make somebody's season.
They're gonna
But
spoil
I
a
love the
team.
division. This is my
One of the
favorite division to watch in football. I love the coaches. I love the style of play. I love. There's so many good players. I love this division. It's my favorite division to watch in the NFL.
Yeah.
Me too.
This is almost like the youth movement minus Pete Carroll, but Pete Carroll feels like in essence like the kid in the room.
And he's
as far
like
as
the oldest head coach, right?
He's like one of the oldest coaches in the league, but he has that childlike exuberance.
Yeah, you're right, but I don't know who's actually older than him. I think he's even.
think- I
older
think
than
he's
Bill.
I think he's the oldest one.
I'll Google that, but I'm
But I
pretty
think
sure
because he's like 68, 69. Like I think he's
Maybe
older than
70.
Belichick. He's 70.
Yeah, I think he is 70. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's older than Belichick.
he's been around for Pete Carroll.
Well, he
Yeah,
he coached college for a long time before he
Yeah.
even went
Well,
to the
he
pros.
was,
So
he
he's
was
been
a
a
Patriots coach. He was
Yeah, he's Patriot
head
coach. You're right. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Then you think about you got like a guy like Cliff Kingsbury who's there. He's young. Our boy McVay,
Yep,
McVay.
Sean, yep.
and then also
He's 69.
he's right. He's almost 70.
Close.
Right. And then and then you got my other guy Cal, who's not even 40 yet.
Yep.
But okay, so who I got winning the division? I have the 49ers winning by a slight edge. It's what's
It's
gonna be
close
funny.
between those two, man.
It's right. And what I'm telling you, if that Pittsburgh Cleveland that could be flexed out, it's gonna be this one. Because I guarantee you, it's gonna be just like what happened last year. Because remember, because I said whoever won that game,
Right.
I said it was like they're going to Super Bowl. Because I think the same thing can happen. I think whoever wins this game is going to get that first round bye, and then the other team is going to play the next week. Which now you add in the wrinkle now where you only have one team that has a bye.
Yep.
So that's another thing too where I think now.
Oh right,
you know,
yes, I forgot about those changes.
yeah.
where
So
there's
now
only one
the
team.
second seed will have to play wild card weekend. So whoever gets that number 1 seed, then then that person gonna drop to probably potentially the 5th seed, and they'll be on the road, probably a cross country trip to maybe Philly or Dallas.
Yeah. I think
You
most
know.
of the series in the NFC West are going to be split, though.
Right, and that's the thing too, where
Yeah.
that January 3rd, that might be essentially, it's 50-50. It's either between Cleveland and Pittsburgh or Seattle and San Francisco, January 3rd. That's gonna be either one or two games gonna be flexed out for that 8:30 NBC.
To
For
comment
fact.
on Jason's comment, as far as Hopkins goes, I think that dude's
Five.
wants the money, wants his stats, and he's gonna. I don't have. To me, he's in my OBJ category. I don't think that. I think if he gets 100 catches this year, he's fine whether he wins one game. I'm not on his bandwagon.
But Arizona's tricky. Arizona one of the teams, and because they, we played them September 20th, matter of fact, in 2 weeks, and that kind of scares me. Out of all the teams, I mean, we play Philly, we play Cleveland, and hell, then we play Baltimore. Arizona's the one that's the one that's intriguing because anything can happen. Arizona, for some bizarre reason, you go to Arizona, it's a crapshoot. Even when they're bad.
Loud there. I mean, there's no
Right.
fans, so never mind.
but
It
yeah,
was
just in
loud
general.
there.
Electronic
They might
fans,
turn
they'll
up
be
the
on the-
radio this year.
Right.
And
And
they're
they're
allowed to
electronic
pipe their
fans.
noise.
And like going to Jeff Point, where I think essentially they could be like the spoiler, where you'll look at that type of team
Gonna
and
be a
like, okay,
spoiler, yeah.
they might do some team, they might have some,
Put some
might be
teams in,
opposed to
yeah.
threat to Seattle, opposed to threat to San Francisco one Sunday, or even the Rams. So yeah, I got the 49ers win this division. So fellas, let's get to the.
And I think
The
Josh
best
Gordon
is-
is going to be okay.
I think so too.
I don't even know
I
if he
think
makes the team. He
Yeah,
might
he'll be
play- he
solid.
won't play
I think he'll be
games.
solid.
I hope so.
I
If he
think
does
he will.
play, I
And
think he'll be okay.
Yeah, and he got a good coach. So I mean, we're not worrying about like Hugh Jackson and
And
like
a great quarterback.
Right. I think he's gonna be okay. Yeah. As long as you don't have a woman in his room. Seattle cut you real quick.
Only if you're a rookie. Only if you're undrafted.
Yo,
Only
that
if you're an
story is
undrafted rookie.
crazy,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
That story is crazy.
So, I wanted to save this for the last, but I had to be consistent. It had to be fair. So, we're going to go around the horn. The NFC East winner will be. I'm gonna go with Steven first because I'm gonna mute myself because I know I know who his winner is. So we're gonna go with Steven first.
This is
got?
kind of like the inverse of the conference we just talked about. It's like someone has to win this division. You know what I mean? Like I have the Eagles and the Cowboys both at 9-7 for the year. Both of the teams at 9-7, with the Cowboys actually holding the tiebreaker between the two. And then after them, I have the Giants at 3-13 and the Washington football team at 2-14. But I do have Dallas, and Coach, you're my boy, and I love you, bro. I went through and looked at everybody's schedule. Y'all's schedule is not even fair for where y'all at in development right now. I do have good news for you later, though.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
I gotta go to my East Coast brethren, Chris, who's winning the best division in NFL history. The only conference that has all
Super Bowl
winners. Everyone has won a Super Bowl in this illustrious division, filled with pageantry and all.
Exactly. No other division can say that. So take that. But I mean, 2-14 for the Skins and 3-13. I mean, the Giants, yeah, I can see it, but I think the Redskins are gonna be good. No, excuse me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that word.
Easy.
I have, unfortunately, and I'm sure Jason's gonna love this. I got the Cowboys winning this division, followed by the Eagles. To me, the Eagles. The Cowboys. They have enough offensively to get it done. The defense is still solid. To me, they just have the best roster.
They made the coaching change.
McCarthy is an upgrade right now.
Yeah.
The Eagles, man, they lost too much. They lost both their tackles. Peters Peters wants to get paid to play left tackle as a left tackle, so that's a whole nother thing. They lost Dillard. They lost Brooks, their guard.
They got Lane Johnson still.
They got Lane Johnson, but he's okay. He's going off his name.
He gets hurt a lot though.
He's going off his name, at this point in his career. The weapons are they just try to trade, Alshon and then get nothing. Jalen Rager's hurt. They got some. It's a kind of a mess. The running back situation.
For Gregory.
Yeah, Gregory's back. Oh God. See?
Okay, he gonna punch somebody.
Yeah. He'll find a way to get suspended, Gregory.
Right.
But the Eagles, Wentz, it'll come down to Wentz to me for them, and I just don't know with Wentz.
Well, the running backs look decent for this year.
Yeah, but they're hurt too. Sanders was battling an injury too, so they got a lot of injuries. To me, injuries is going to be, and their defense has taken a step back. Their secondary is kind of, I know they added the dude Darius Slay from Detroit, which helps, but they still need some help. But I have the Washington football team finishing third. I love their defense. To me, that's why I have them over my Giants, is the defense. I think Haskins takes a step forward. To me, Terry McLaurin is going to take that. AJ Brown, Hollywood Brown, those second-year receivers are just going to boom. I love Terry McLaurin. I try to get him in every fantasy team possible, too. I love Terry McLaurin. But I think Haskins takes in that. I love Ron Rivera. I thought he should have been the Giants coach. But and then the Giants, all right. The Giants, man. The offensive line is still in works. It's in better, but it's still not where it should be. Defensively, it's going to be a wreck. They are the worst defense in football, and it's not even close to defense how bad they are. They are awful defensively. They just cut their first-round pick from last year, DeAndre Baker.
Yeah.
The cornerback situation is awful. All they have is James Bradbury and then 18 other corners who can't cover. They added Logan. And people are getting excited about that. But guess what? He's not even going to play corner. He's a safety because he wasn't good last year playing corner. People remember him because he picked off Brady, but that's all he did. His numbers, his coverage he was like a top.
Logan Ryan, who you're talking
Logan
about?
Ryan, yeah, he was like in the back end of the top, in the 50s as far as coverage as corner. So he's not that good of a corner. The defense, there's no pass rush. They got a third-year guy in Carter and a second-year guy at rushing the passer. I'm not high on the defense. I think Saquon's gonna be great. Daniel Jones, I hope he takes that next step. I like some of the weapons on offense, but the Giants, it pains me to say, but I think they finished last in the division. I think Washington is just defensively is what does it for me. And if you don't have defense, you can't go in 40 shootouts every week. To me, the defense of Washington is what does it for me as far as a 3-4 matchup. But I got the Cowboys winning it, Giants finishing last.
Jeff.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, Corey, I got Dallas, and I got Dallas like a little better than a lot of people. I don't think it's going to come down to the last game. I think Dallas have a complete roster. I really like Dak. I think Zeke will show up this year. I'm assuming he's probably got maybe 2 more years that he can, carry a team every now and then. But yeah, I got them probably winning maybe 12 games, no problem, winning the division. I think Philadelphia is better. I'm never too hard on Wentz for these injuries because he'll play great for 10 games and then get injured. I know it's fluky,
I hope his injuries have been fluky too, Mike.
But it is hard to argue with. Like it's happened twice.
It does happen.
You have to plan for it now, which
exactly.
is why they drafted
Jalen Hurts,
and
I agree.
Right?
Jalen Hurts, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I try not to do that. So I think Phillies, they're a 10-win team. And then, Washington is playing for a couple years down the road. The reason I think Washington's going to be a little better than New York is I think they have a little better plan in place. Like they have some more future. I think Washington has more players on their roster that'll be there in 2 years than the Giants do. I think the Giants are in
we didn't have our first-round pick last year, so we don't know who knows.
Yeah, I think the Giants are like about ready to go like full turnover mode outside of Saquon. I don't know. I don't watch them every week, but I feel like Washington has they might have a little more fun with some guys that are going to be there in a few years and maybe win. They might win 4 games, they'll upset somebody. And of course, I'm rooting for Haskins, rooting for Young. I'm not going to lie to anybody. So, but yeah, I got Dallas clearly winning that division.
Yeah. Call me crazy. For some odd reason, I got a premonition. I think Philly gonna win this division again.
Really?
I know we talked about the injuries, and you got to think about it. This team was injured last year. I mean, they were worse.
Like,
they had
injured.
Like, I mean, to me, I think the biggest X factor on their offense is Deshaun Jackson. I think when he comes back, and I'm telling people, even as a former him being with us here in Washington, he makes a difference. He makes a world of difference. Offensively for this team, if he can stay healthy, they have a good shot.
But they have a lot of receivers that are banged up. That's my thing.
That's true.
And running backs.
But right, and that's the thing too, where for some Philly is
everyone's hurt on that
and offensive line.
Right,
and they
lost 2
right.
linemen. Like they got a lot of banged up people.
And the funny thing about it all, they still won the division. They were just as bad last year.
Because the Cowboys do what they do every year, and they disappoint.
Which is why it was hard for me to go higher than 9-7 for Dallas.
Right, and that's the thing too, where I think you're still going to have the disappointment with the Cowboys. I mean, that's just going to happen. I mean,
that's
on
paper they should be a Super Bowl contender.
Right,
like,
they have the talent. Right,
to that offense should
put
them.
And that's why you're hoping as a Cowboy fan, you're like, okay, now we have a Super Bowl caliber coach to match our clientele, not our clientele, well, to meet our personnel. Pardon me, like what the hell? But anyway, but to meet
mode right now,
right? To meet their clientele, I'm like, their personnel. God, see, there we go again.
Business, man. He thinking
but yeah, so to meet their personnel, so you're looking at it, you thinking they're gonna take that leap, and that's potentially where they can. But to me, Philly's like that wounded dog that you see in the alley. Like, you can never count that dog out until
that's a Super Bowl championship team not too long ago. So
right.
Yeah.
So then I look at
they had injuries too.
Yeah.
They had Carson Wentz, who was the MVP until he got hurt. When he got hurt,
right.
Yeah.
And then I think round out third, I think it's going to be my beloved Washington football team. I think this is another thing where I think guys, we just have to be patient. This is going to be a process. It's not going to be a overnight thing. So
good,
I would like me and Rob will talk at nauseam, huh? Yeah.
My only thing is though, Ron Rivera is a great defensive coach, but he has had some terrible offenses. And to me, Washington, I think what's going to really hold them back is the offensive play
Offense.
calling.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really going to be
Well, they
the
still
play
got to
calling.
rebuild. That's why. I
But
think
and that's the thing, right? And that's the thing where I think people look at Ron Rivera as a guy who led Carolina to a Super Bowl that was 15-1. But we still got to remember Carolina had growing pains from the start. I mean, I remember in 2013, everybody in Charlotte was like, "Get Ron the hell out of here." And then he end up turning around and win that division that exact same year. So to me, it's going to be the same process here, where it's like you just have to be patient. I think any more than 4 wins, you can be like, okay, well, we're in a step in the right direction.
If
They
I'm
have
I look at
a plan is good though. That's what you have
right.
to be
That's what I always said.
Exactly.
I think did we talk about?
dealing with all the noise,
Right.
dealing with the name change and everything with Daniel Snyder.
Allegations,
The allegations.
Right,
if you're
right.
just looking at the football plan. The
Right.
football plan is not bad. Like they got
Right.
a plan. So you have
Right.
to be encouraged with that aspect.
And you're hoping that Scott Turner can drop some good plays for Haskins. And then also the Giants. I still think the Giants kind of, even though people they kill me about the Jason Garrett, Daniel Jones dynamic.
It is enough.
But
I like the move.
to me, we go. But the thing is, but Daniel Jones put up some great numbers last year. So you're part of you're like, okay, well, what can he do for Jason Garrett? Even though a lot of people say he doesn't do good with young quarterbacks, but this is really his first time having a young quarterback. Well, except for Dak, but
No, sir.
I mean,
yeah, dude, Jerry Jones, like Jason Garrett owes Jerry Jones now. Like the only reason he has a job in this league is because Jerry Jones went out of his way to
get him.
exit him properly. You know, like he invited him to his home and he said, "Hey, it pains us that we have to part with this guy." Like he sold him.
yeah, but that's the thing too. Where I'm curious. It's more so the curiosity of how Jason Garrett and how he would mesh together. And I'm thinking it could be magic there. It could be.
If I was the Giants or Washington, I would have went for some 27-year-old college whiz kid coach and turn the offense over and say, hey, we don't have to make the playoffs. Change just like Cliff
That's what the
Kingsbury
Cardinals
did.
I love what the
but-
Cardinals did with
Yep.
Kingsbury. I know Kingsbury gets crap
Sean
because he didn't win.
McVay.
But nobody went at Texas Tech. He had Patrick Mahomes and didn't win.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Like it's just Texas Tech. They don't
Right.
play.
I know, I'm with you.
And,
Because
like,
you don't
and-
need a retread 8-8 coach and look
But-
at him like, oh, he's going to be the answer to everything.
But you
that
think
we have
about it,
problems.
And
and you
Joe
think
Judge?
about it, and you know what's so crazy about it, Jeff? We've had all those guys in the building. We had,
I know.
All right, you
we had
guys messed up
we
on
had
that.
McVay.
You had Shanahan.
We had Shanahan, and now we got Stephen Boy, Kevin O'Connell there. So we've had the boy wonders, but
I wish the Giants went that way because.
But,
the
right, and
Judge
I-
thing was- the Joe
and
Judge
that's
thing
why,
is-
right?
The ownership,
and that's why,
dude, y'all's ownership
Right,
is
and
like we have to.
that was
have
Bruce
these,
Allen,
like,
right.
We have to have a
blue-collar-
dictator. We have to have
Yeah.
yeah,
someone.
and that's what happened, and that's really like, and that's what, and me and Rob talk about this ad nauseum. We had the boy wonders, we had them, but no one believed in them,
You have to take
and
a
that's
chance
the
on
that's
them.
the scary thing about it.
Chance on McVay, right? And it's so
Right.
far, it's kind of weird. They went to the Super Bowl with McVay.
And then Matt LaFleur was there too. For the up and rising coaches in this league, we've had it in our building, and within the last 10 years, they're gone.
You just gotta have that vision of like, all right,
You're
you know
right,
what?
right.
You don't have to. Now you don't always have to go after the established coach who's been coaching.
Yeah,
like you
stop
said,
getting
retread,
quick,
right?
Right,
quick.
It's kind of
right.
like the NBA too. Like they kind
In
of do
any
that too. Like
in any
in
sport,
Right.
any sport.
any
But
sport.
I
like you
wish
said.
the Giants would have.
Right.
You know who I wanted for the Giants? Oh my god, the Kansas City Chiefs. Bellamy.
Bieniemy, Eric Bieniemy.
Yes.
Yeah,
there
Why
you
is
go.
why did no
That's
one
who I want.
go for him?
That's
He
what I
should
want the Giants to get.
honestly,
He
right.
doesn't get enough credit from Mahomes because you ask Andy Reid and he says he's the reason why Mahomes. is
Right.
Not me.
Right.
But
Somebody
he's
need to
not-
take him because I'm telling you, I thought he was for sure going to Colorado. after Mel Tucker left to go to Michigan State. I was like, he's going there.
Riley, too. Jason brings that up.
Lincoln Riley, yeah,
Riley
like
should
yeah,
have
that's
been
what
the Cowboys.
I
Jason.
thought the Cowboys were gonna give him the bag and just say,
And-
it's hard
right.
to leave Oklahoma. Oh, that's a good ass job, yo. That's a really good job to have.
And right,
And then
and the
going
thing
to
was,
Dallas, where it's
and
like,
it right,
The pressure,
and
you
it-
have too much pressure. Like Oklahoma, you might gonna get to the playoff. You're probably gonna lose in the playoff, but that's
Right.
fine because
your
you're playing
conference isn't that strong. You're getting whatever
you
prospects
always gonna
want.
yeah, you're gonna be in the
Spencer
conversation.
Rattler, you're getting 5-star quarterbacks every year. You're getting Heisman Trophy winners.
And to
Receivers.
think, he's only 36 years old. He's probably going to eclipse Bob Stoops in the next 10 to 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to
If
be a
he's there.
legendary head coach
All he has to
by
do
the
is
time
win
he's
that
45.
championship. He's the best coach in Oklahoma history.
He can get
Right.
whatever job
Look,
he wants, really.
By the time he's 45, and even if he fails, he probably could come back. The beauty thing with him is
yeah.
he can
It's
he
like,
can fail, right?
Like Saban.
Pete
Saban failed
Carroll
to
and
be
Nick
on the
Saban.
Right.
He go took the Alabama job and he has 5 national championships under his belt.
Urban
Right.
Meyer. Yep.
Urban Meyer.
Right.
Urban Meyer.
Right.
But I think the stress that's if he couldn't step with the stress in college, when you think of the stress in the NFL with dealing with
It's
millions,
a whole lot, right?
it's a
Right.
different stress.
You're dealing with paid professionals.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
But if
So,
Urban
fel-
Meyer comes back to the college,
Yeah. Yeah.
See, this is what
Miami-
happens when you got two
Miami.
guys in the NFC North
Come to
running
Miami.
this stream. We've been on this division for like 30 minutes, guys.
Hey.
That's why.
Right. So,
Well,
fellas, let's talk about the
Y'all are
NFC.
history of the NFL, yes.
Right, the NFC North. Who we got winning the NFC North? Steven, who you got?
In the NFC North,
Yeah.
I have the Vikings. I have them.
Yeah.
I have them going 13-3 this year. I have the Bears second at 10-6. I have the Packers at 9-7, and then the Lions at 4-12.
Chris, who you got?
I got the Vikings winning this division. The defense to me is super strong. You know, Dalvin Cook is just one of the best running backs in football. I like Alex Madison, the backup. He's to me, if something happens to Cook, plug in Madison.
Be fine.
They won't lose a step. You know, they still got Adam Thielen. You know, I like the tight end. I like
Rudolph,
the tight end.
yeah.
Not even Rudolph. Irv Smith.
Oh, yes.
He's from Alabama.
Yeah.
He's gonna take over. He's gonna be something really good. I like him a lot. They still got Kirk. You know, Kirk's solid. You know, I like the Vikings a lot. I got the Packers finishing second. You know, can't count on A-Rod. Can't count on A-Rod for sure. So I still got to go with the
That
Packers.
was made apparent this year in the draft.
Yeah, for sure. I know they go, but I still like I like Aaron Jones. You know, they still got Devontae Adams. They still got some pieces there. They won the NFC Championship last year. You know, they still got some players there. The Lions, to me, I have them finishing third. I know a lot of people are down on the Lions, but I think you know, Stafford coming back, and you know, I like DeAndre Swift, the rookie out of Georgia, for them. You know, Galladay.
Love
is
Galladay.
a very good.
Yeah.
Love Galladay.
I
Yeah.
think T.J. Hawkinson takes that next step.
Love the
You know,
tight end. Yep.
The defense needs a little bit of work, but you know,
Yep. They lost
you know,
Slade.
and the Bears to me are last. The quarterback situation is trash. The running back situation is bad. You know, I obviously Allen Robinson's a good receiver, but the tight end situation, the defense regrets.
Jimmy Graham, bro. Come on now.
Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham's been good a long time.
2012.
But the defense regressed tremendously last year. If Khalil Mack's not Khalil Mack, this defense is not as effective as it was the previous, you know, when they first got Khalil Mack. But yeah, I'm not high in the Bears at all. I mean, I was all on the Bears train last year. I had them going to the Super Bowl. I was big time Bears last year, and I don't trust Trubisky. I mean, that's still going to go down as
Nick
one of
Foles,
the worst.
baby.
Is going to go down. And Nick Foles is always hurt, so I mean, so you can't trust that either. So they just have a bad. To me, Nagy is on the hot seat. If he's in last place, Nagy won't be there too. And that was another boy wonder too, Nagy. You know, he was supposed to be that dude, but you know, he has not. He's gonna have some trouble this year because they don't have a lot of talent, especially offensively. But yeah, I'm not high in the Bears, so I have them last. Vikings win this division.
Jeff.
Yeah, I got Vikings winning the division. I just think they're more. I don't think they're. it's not a star-studded roster, but they've got capable players in the right positions that do their jobs well. They're hard to
That's a good
beat.
way to put
They
it.
don't give up a lot of games, and then in close games they win. Cousins he's getting it done. You can't argue with his stats and what he's done. Cook's amazing. That's huge, especially on the turf games and the good weather games. And I think Green Bay is just finally at that. I don't think they're going to be horrible, but I think they're just the offensive weapons and stuff. None of it makes sense. It's always running back by committee up there. Even as much as I like Jones, it still winds up being just because running back's a tough position. But Rodgers is good enough to carry him a little bit. The defense it feels like they take a step back a little bit every year for the last 5 years. So, they're not horrible. Yeah, I'm real low in Chicago and Detroit. I think it's just like we talked about earlier. I think it's two teams that don't have a plan. They have players in the wrong spot. They're overpaying players that don't affect the team. Even the good, like Detroit's obviously got a better offense out of the two, but they're just so beatable. Like Detroit is so beatable that they're not going to steal any. I think Chicago's kind of a mess, honestly. I think next year they might be one of the worst teams in football. Not necessarily this year, but
it's crazy how the fall goes like that.
Yeah,
right?
It's instant.
Like they literally were like, if their field goal kicker knew how to kick a field goal, they would be possible. They could have made the Super Bowl.
Yep.
They could have been a Super Bowl team.
It goes quick, and now
they could be a team that we're talking about, like possibly on the clock.
It's that quick. Like
one of those teams. Like it's crazy.
As far as Mac goes, like Chris said, like as far as him being effective, they don't have enough on the back end. You got to build your. I'm like Belichick. You build your defense from the back up. And not on the line. If you got the defensive line, but your safeties and cornerbacks are out of position. You can double team. You can leave a tight end to check, and you make that guy relevant. And you're still getting.
I think their secondary is going to take a really good step because a lot of those dudes were young.
It could be.
That's the thing. Like
they got Eddie Jackson,
Jeff Okudah, your boy.
And if that happens, they could totally surprise everybody. Say Foles plays great like they paid him to, and that secondary does that. Then you're talking about a whole different team.
Right.
They got the pass rush.
Can Mac be the guy he was 2 years ago? Where
the secondary steps up, he will be.
Right.
He was not that guy.
Right.
Like, I don't know if he's declining. Or it was just a year where he was just banged up. I hope
new team. He was in a new spot, man. Like that's what all I think it was is learning a brand new system.
Language. It's like I learned a foreign
he
language.
was the Bears 2 years ago, and he was almost defensive player of the year. Like,
and the thing,
I don't know if it's the injuries or if he is.
Right.
I just want to. If he's declined, then they're in trouble.
The biggest thing with them is can they force turnovers like they did in 2018?
Exactly.
That's the thing, because that's really their calling card was the turnover margin.
And if they do, they're going to jump the Packers in that division.
Right.
If all that happens, they're jumping the Packers.
So I guess we all gonna agree. I got the Vikings winning this division as well. I just look at this team. Kirk Cousins, I think he's really has now grown up to a point where I can trust him. Like he wins primetime games. He's won a game yeah, you like that. And now he's won a playoff game on the road. He does lose a guy in Stephon Diggs, but like me and Jeff was talking last week about the wide receiver core of this rookie class. They got a guy in Justin Jefferson. Yeah, so to me, he's the one. And we talked about how I can see most of these guys being 1,000-yard receivers. I think he could be one of those. I think couple him with Adam Thielen. I think that's there. Then you say Dalvin Cook. I love what Gary Kubiak is doing there offensively with them. I like this team. I think I have in second place. Got the Packers at 9-7. The Bears at 7-9. They got Detroit at 6-10. Detroit is a little weird. I think what killed them last year was the back injury for Stafford.
Oh, sure.
And I think you can't win games with
carrying the damn team every year.
That's true. So a lot of those teams were led by Jeff Driscoll, and you would hope in those times that this would probably be the make or break year for Matt Patricia. So you would think
he's done.
He's done. I think more than likely he's done after this year.
Go back to New England.
I think Black Monday on January 4th. I think he should be one of the guys who I think essentially will see getting off be firing. So I think he'll be a Black Monday
coordinator somewhere.
He almost got fired this year.
He should have.
He'll be a
He
coordinator
was
somewhere.
Yeah, he'll probably go back. He'll probably go back to New England. You're right. So, the final division in our 2020 NFL preview,
another tough
the
division.
NFC
That's a good one.
South.
That's a good
Oh
one.
boy, I'm gonna start with you, Jeff. Who you got
Okay.
winning this division?
It's a nice division. I got New Orleans winning it again. They've pretty much got everything in place. That team's got a ton of weaknesses, but they've proven for the last 6 years that they just know how to win games and stack the wins up and win the division. And Michael Thomas is still a maniac. And we talked about this, Coach. I love Jameis Winston being the backup. I think he's the best backup in the NFL, and they can afford. If you can afford your quarterback to go down, that's a huge advantage. And they proved it last year without Teddy Bridgewater. That team's done. So, I still got New Orleans winning it. The Tampa thing, I like Tampa's roster. It's still weird to bring in a quarterback, especially this kind of odd summer to where there's less contact and all that. But I'm not doubting Brady until I see it. But even if you give me the Brady from last year, he's just a middle of the road quarterback, wild card type stats and stuff like that. So I don't necessarily know that they elevate their team. If it's my choice, I try to cut down on Jameis's interceptions, and I keep Jameis. And I think you got a better team. But obviously, I like Jameis. So I still got New Orleans. Carolina, I love Teddy, and I hope it works out. I don't know about this year. They've got some good pieces, but McCaffrey is going to get the ball every other play. He's probably going to have a historic season, and as far as that goes. But I think New Orleans still winning that division.
Chris, who you got?
I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers
Oh,
winning
boy, Brady.
the NFC South. Obviously, they added a certain quarterback who's done some things in his career. Journeyman. Did some things in New England. Nothing special. Just a couple Super Bowls. That's it. I think 6. That's it. I know Brady's not Brady. He's not the old. He's 43. He didn't look the same last year, but it helps when you got two monsters on the outside, in Godwin and Evans, and then you bring back Gronk. You still got OJ Howard. You got Brait. They drafted the kid Wirfs out of Iowa, which is huge.
Yes.
That was huge. Okay, so they got their tackles, situation set up. They added Leonard Fournette, that helps massively. They got Shady there still. They got some vets there. With Ronald Jones there, and then they drafted I can't think of the rookie's name, but they drafted another young rookie. The defense,
Who's
Barrett.
backup? Who's Brady's backup now?
Oh, Josh Rosen, man. They got Josh Rosen there. So I feel good for Josh Rosen that he's in a situation where he can learn. Because he's kind of got
Tannehill setup.
He kind of got a raw deal in the NFL. It's really unfortunate what's happened to him. He's gotten a raw deal, but good for him. But the defense is underrated too. You got some solid linebackers. They took the kid White from.
They had a nice defense.
They got some guys. Shaquille Barrett led the league in sacks last year. They got some dogs. They brought back a Dominic too. Some toughness. Maybe it's just me being a homer because Brady's my guy, but I just like this
As
team.
a Giants fan.
It's odd, but that's my guy. I love the story. I'm a story guy. I love stories, and I love the Brady story. That's why I go with him. I rock with him. I got the Saints finishing second. I don't know. All the heartbreak of this team has dealt with. I just feel like it's just not going to happen this year. They're just not. I don't feel the magic this year. I don't feel the magic. I don't know about Drew Brees. He's declining. He is declining. Kamara is banged up. I don't. He's dealing with some stuff. Michael Thomas is good. They got Emmanuel Sanders. They got the guy. The defense is solid. But I think they'll finish second. The Falcons, to me, are another one of those teams where they're like the Browns, right? You wouldn't be surprised if they actually win it because they got talent. They have a lot of talent, and but you wouldn't be surprised if they finish last. They're one of those.
Yeah, right.
right? They got they have a high ceiling, but a very their floor is low too. So they're one of those weird teams where you wouldn't be surprised if they make a run, but you also wouldn't be surprised if they're a top 5 team, in the draft. So they still got some guys. Obviously, Julio, Matt Ryan, all those guys. They got some guys. They added Todd Gurley. I think Ridley's going to be an ascending guy for sure. And the Panthers, to me, their full rebuild. This thing is a few years away before they get back to freaking track. Matt Rule, they added Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know if he's the future Teddy Bridgewater, but I'm rooting for him big time because to come back from that devastating knee injury he came back from. It's the fact that he's gotten to this point where he was able to have a solid season last year with the Saints filling up from Breeze, and then come back and then get a nice solid deal and be the quarterback for the time being is good for him. But the Panthers, it's Christian McCaffrey, and they don't have a lot much there. It's pretty much that's it. But I think the Buccaneers are going to take this division, man. I may be the homer in me and for Brady, but I'm going with Tampa to win this division.
Steven, who you got?
Yes, sir. So I'm rolling with Jeff. I got the Saints, but it's only by one game. So I got the Saints at 12-4. I got the Bucks at 11-5. Call me crazy, and I know y'all will because y'all been hating on the Falcons. 10-6. I don't think that's out of the question. Them going 10-6, and then the Panthers going 4-12. So I'm going to start with the Falcons. I think the Falcons, I don't think that they have that same Cleveland dilemma that you just said, Chris, because they have a quarterback, a proven quarterback, and he's been established and he does his thing every year.
It's everything else, though.
No, you're right. It's everything else. But look, Julio Jones, they just added Hayden Hurst from Baltimore, who was a beast in Baltimore, right? They just got Todd Gurley. I'm glad to see him gone just because of the distraction that it was, right? I'm ready for a clean slate, but there's no denying his talent when he's healthy. You know what I mean? So he's there. They don't have Freeman anymore, so he has to be the guy. They don't have that kind of run by committee type of thing going on there. And that defense, they got a little bit better. They drafted the cornerback, right? So they got a guy there. Their linebackers, they added Deion Buchanan out of Arizona, so they got some speed guys to kind of help out with passing situations. I think that they improved this year. The Bucks, I have them one game back from the Saints, and I think that one game comes from when they play each other. I think that the Saints get the better of the Bucks because they have that defense, and they added Emmanuel Sanders at receiver. That was a good pickup for Drew Brees, and their defense is just consistent, right? So I don't know. I like the Bucks, but I like the Saints a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I guess I'm gonna be the lone wolf. Where's Jelani?
Oh,
you going with Atlanta?
I got the Atlanta Falcons at 11-5 winning this division.
I have them 10-6.
To me, I look at this team, and you always look for these type of trends. I always say like the teams. When a team goes 1-7 and then they win 6 out of their last 8 games, you're like, okay, could that carry over to the next season? Mm-hmm. I look at that, like you said, Matt Ryan, he's established. He's already been a league MVP. He's 35 now.
He's another disrespected quarterback.
And now Dirk Cutter is back, so they can kind of recreate that magic, bringing in Todd Gurley, then coupled with Ridley. Yeah, but the defense improved because remember, Raheem Morris was their wide receiver coach in the beginning when they sucked. He ended up becoming their defensive defensive coordinator in that final stretch. So now they were kind of experimenting and kind of going through the motions. Because we always got to have a team that that doesn't make it. Atlanta's gonna be the team I think is gonna bounce back. I just think they had a very convincing win over San Francisco in December.
That was a good win.
That was a great win.
Julio touchdown, right? The game winner.
Yeah, and that let me know. Okay, well they can go toe to toe because what killed with San Francisco was San Francisco was just punching everybody in the mouth and everybody was just bowing down, even to us. Even though in the rain we held them to 9 points. That's my calling card. We're the only team that held in the double digits last year, but it was in a rainstorm. But nine times, but generally, San Francisco would just punch you in the mouth, you'll bleed, and you just tap out. Atlanta just came in there, boom, you score, I score, boom, 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 boom. That's a dangerous team going forward. I like that team. I think who I have second in the South. I think I got the Saints. I think that's another thing. Like going back to your point, Chris, where when is a heartbreak going to end? Like, I mean, you know, we have back-to-back years of heartbreak. I mean, you think about the Minnesota Miracle, then the situation with your Rams.
They feed off that crowd noise, and there's no crowd this year. So
Right, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up
then,
in a minute.
you know, then Steven with that call that put you guys in Atlanta, coincidentally, and then last year losing to Kirk Cousins in a wild card game, which we all was like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yep.
Now you're like,
They got
okay,
pumped. They
Right.
went in there, everyone thought they were going to run all over the Vikings.
Yes,
Guess what? They got
yes.
punched in the mouth.
yes, and they got punched, and they ran to what they call a buzzsaw and lost. And so I look at this team and it's like, I
The
like
South
Atlanta.
is tough, dude. The South is going to
tough.
be tough
Yes,
this year.
I think so. And
Because
then
I
even-
wouldn't be surprised if any one of these three teams
Right.
are division winners. It's like one of a lot of
Right.
these divisions where you
it's
just
a toss-up.
the top three teams can win it. But you know,
And if Carolina being behind three teams that I think could get double-digit wins, they get 4 or 5 wins. Like that's still a big. That's a big
Yeah.
jump for them in a tough division like that.
And you know what? I like them. I like them
They-
going forward. I,
like
love what they
Warriors
did in the
nice,
draft.
dude.
yeah.
I love what they did in the draft where you drafted all defense. And I think a
defense.
guy like if there wasn't a Chase Young in this, I would look at Derek Brown as as a guy who would be one of the top defensive guys as far as rookies.
He's a good
I think
player.
Derek Brown,
He's
right?
a monster at Auburn.
Yeah. So, fellas, your wild cards.
Who you
I'm gonna
want
go
first?
with you first, Steven.
Okay. So I got the Niners as the first wild card. I had them at 13-3. I got Tampa as my second wild card at 11-5. And then I'm higher on the Bears than you guys, but I have them tied with Atlanta at 10-6. So I could go either the Bears or the Falcons and die a happy man, you know, if that happens. So those are my wild cards.
Who you got, Chris?
I have the Saints wild card, and I have the Niners and the Rams as my other two wild cards. Yeah, so I don't have the Eagles or Packers or making it, but to me the NFC West gets 3 teams. I just think that division's, you know, those 3 teams are tremendous. So
Man, I hope y'all
think,
are
I
right.
think I think the 49ers, Rams, Saints wild cards.
Yeah. Jeff.
I went with the Rams, the Eagles, and Green Bay. I know it's same old, but when I just kind of like Steven did, when I looked at the records, I think they can just eke out enough victories to get there because of divisions and things like that. But I'm just really high on the Rams this year. I think it's bounced back.
Y'all are making me nervous.
So I got the Seahawks, the Saints, and the Bucks. So I got 3 teams out the South going.
The
It would,
South and the
not,
West are tough,
it
dude.
would not be surprised if
Yeah,
you
me
Falcons
neither.
are that third playoff team too.
Right. It has that potential. So we're going right along. Let's go our awards. So we'll just do quick. Who's your MVP?
Okay.
Steven?
I got Russell Wilson this year winning MVP.
Okay.
Nice.
Chris?
I second that.
Russ? Okay. Jeff?
I got Mahomes because I think what a lot of us forget about is as great as Mahomes' season was last year, he didn't even play the whole season.
That's
So
true.
it's not like he didn't even have his greatest season. I think
And he
this-
still finished like 4th in the voting too. Like
I
even
think-
Right.
Yeah, I think this is his 07 Tom Brady. I think everything comes together as a fantastic season, walk away MVP.
can't doubt it. You can't.
But I love Russ. I think I
I think
don't
it's
know.
gonna.
I think
I think people are going to get sick of Mahomes being as good as he is, and you're going
Me
to see
too.
like what LeBron James
Fatigue.
gets now,
Fatigue.
right? Like people are like,
Greatness
let's,
fatigue.
let's talk about somebody else for a change.
And voter
this year.
fatigue too, because Russell Wilson, at one point last year, was in the MVP, front runner, and then Lamar Jackson season was just too good to pass up. So I think, Russell Wilson, I think he's gonna have a season where he's just gonna go off because that's all he's really missing. He's missing an MVP,
And I think people are going to start using like creative arguments away from Patrick Mahomes. Like, look at the weapons that he has compared to Russell Wilson. Look at, you know what I mean? Like, I think people are going to try to take away, like, they're going to chip away at Mahomes as much as they can to give other people shine.
Yeah. Jeff, you said Mahomes, yeah. I got Mahomes as well. I got Mahomes. And like you said, I think it's going to get to a point where if he doesn't have that 52 touchdown season, people are going to be like, well, why are you giving them this shit? Like you said, it's the fatigue. We're going to make convenient excuses for not giving him, the award. So, yeah, I look at it like that. Offensive player of the year, Jeff.
I went with McCaffrey.
Hey.
Only because what we talked about earlier, I think it's going to be just his show. Because they're not going to give it to Mahomes because he's going to get MVP. I just think it's going to be Christian McCaffrey. I think he's going to put a 1,000 season up, and it's going to be great. I mean, Barkley, Saquon Barkley could be another guy. It's going to put up some stupid season.
Chris.
Well, you just said my guy. I'm going with Saquon Barkley.
Saquon, okay.
Offensive player. I think he's going to have a monster. Listen, he was hurt last year, and he had 1,000-yard season rushing and 400. He almost had 1,500 yards all-purpose after having 2,000 all-purpose as a rookie. So I think he bounced back. Listen, the Giants are going to be down a lot. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for him to catch a lot of passes.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I said, the offensive line is improved. It's still not where it needs to be, but it is improved. So I think they'll open up holes. I think he'll run for 1,000. I think he gets. I think he runs for 1,300. He gets 700 yards receiving. He gets 2,000 yards on purpose, 15 touchdowns. Offensive player of the year. It's bold. I said this on another show. I gave a bold prediction, and I'm just going to go with it, and I feel confident about it.
No, I don't think because they like it. They like to give it to guys like that because the quarterback is the one throw.
He's their best weapon.
They like to give it to the guy with the ball in their hands too. So it's hard to give it to a receiver because he does one thing. So unless you have 15,
although he got one last year, right?
No, yeah, totally. And but they like to give it to a guy that just does a lot, So that's why I picked McCaffrey and Saquon for the same reason.
Saquon, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like I think they're still going to finish last, and they might be on the clock, but it doesn't mean that he won't have a great season. So,
Steven, who you got?
Well, I thought that it was going to be unanimous because I thought Chris just said that you picked the same guy I did. I thought he was going with McCaffrey. That's what I did too. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a quarterback double dip this year because that happens as well, which to me they need to start kind of delineating a little bit from the offensive player of the year because sometimes they give it to the quarterback for both awards, right? We saw it with, Matt Ryan before, things like that.
Sure.
So I think if it's not Russell Wilson double dipping, I think it is Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers because he's coming off of a year last year where he was phenomenal and could have got it last year. And I think that he's in position this year with a more capable quarterback in my eyes with Bridgewater. And he's going to get him the ball in all kinds of creative ways there. So I think McCaffrey gets it if it's not a double dip from Wilson.
Yeah. I think I agree with you too, Steve. I think it's going to be Christian McCaffrey. I think I'm going to be very interested in what Joe Brady is going to do in that offense. And that's another thing that's kind of scary about Carolina going forward because they're going to have the defense that's established. Then you got a guy like a Teddy Bridgewater that's a game manager. And then you got a guy like a Christian McCaffrey who you can put him in all facets of the field. He's your Marshall Faulk of the 2020s, essentially. Where he's everywhere. He can put him anywhere, and then they're going to be a type of team that's going to give this conference fits. Mm-hmm. That's another thing where you look at it, and I want to see what Joe Brady does with this offense. Hell, he turned Joe Burrow into a first-round pick.
He's another boy wonder. He's another boy wonder.
Right. And I'm just like, wow, like right.
That's a good point.
Too. Right. So I look at that, and I look at that as potential. So fellas,
I think it's cool how we all went for these like do it all.
Yeah, I mean, because like right, because because a part of me, because like you said, if we're gonna go for a quarterback, and this has happened before, like you said, you had two quarterbacks. Like you have a quarterback as the MVP, and then one is the offensive player of the year, and it shouldn't be that way because like to me,
that's what I was
like,
going for too.
right? And I get in that, and like you were saying, I mean, you made a compelling argument even where it's like, yeah, it's almost like double dipping, and it actually don't really make sense to have that because
they need to delineate between the two. Like,
right,
you can't win both in my eyes.
Right. Not at all.
They should have offensive player of the year in basketball. Just a random thought, but
yes, amen.
They should
I
have
like
offensive
that.
player of the year in basketball.
I don't want to get sidetracked, but I like that a lot.
I just kept thinking about. I was like,
Right.
yeah, they should add that.
Right.
I've been thinking about that for a while, a couple of years. I'm like,
James Harden would get it every year, but whatever.
Correct. Right.
I'm not even saying that because we can't get down that rabbit hole.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There's your next story, Steven.
Right.
I'm on it.
Defensive player of the year. Who you got, Jeff?
I actually went with I think Aaron Donald's back, but that's too easy. I think Nick Bosa. That kid, that kid was the Super Bowl MVP last year if they win that game. I mean, he owned every play of that. And that they like to give it to guys with the sacks. And it's hard to give to a cornerback. I mean, I think Gilmore probably got it last year, but it's hard to give to cornerbacks who nothing happens. You really got to watch.
It's tough to give it to a corner.
It's easier to give the numbers.
Yeah,
So that's why I
Especially
went
when
with
you're a
Bosa.
good cornerback, you're not going to get the ball.
You
thrown
actually have to
over your
watch the
side.
game.
Yeah.
Like Revis, those years, like he probably should have won it, but he didn't have no stats because no one threw to him.
Yeah,
he
and it's
probably
hard to
should
get
have
to a
won.
linebacker because there's no stat for taking on the lead blocker and then leading to a tackle. Safeties, they do so much over the top and stuff that there's no stats for it. So I just think it's easy for Bosa could get 17 sacks and in flash plays and jump up and down. So I went with Nick Bosa.
Yeah. Who you got, Chris?
I got T.J. Watt,
Ooh.
You know what? He was on my
Not
short
JJ?
list, man.
not J.J.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Baby brother.
TJ's a freaking good player, man.
He was on my short list.
He's why I'm really high on Pittsburgh's defense, man. He does everything, man. And you look at him, you're like, he's not that big of a guy. He's nothing close to what his brother looks like. But he just gets to the quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he does everything, man. He could get 100 tackles, 10 plus sacks, force fumble. He's just always around the football. Those are the guys I love.
Yep.
He's just always around the football. He had a tremendous season last year. I'm going with T.J. Watt.
Yeah. Who you got, Steven?
I mean, are y'all going to call me a homer if I go with Aaron Donald?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
Didn't he win like the last three? So
I mean, he's the best defensive player in football, which is impressive to say as a defensive tackle. Not a defensive end, not a middle linebacker. As a defensive tackle, he's the best defensive player. It's phenomenal. He can rush the middle of an offensive line and draw so much attention away from the outside. It's a shame that we don't have consistent outside pass rushing. Like we lost.
If you added a legit pass
just
rusher
one
next
on the
to
opposite
him,
end, just opposite end. Yep.
it just wouldn't be fair.
It would not, because if you think about the way that this defense could perform at its absolute best with a shutdown cornerback potential in Jalen Ramsey and a pass rusher like Aaron Donald, if you just had one dude in the middle, just one, that could do anything intelligible on the linebacker or the safety end, it would be unfair for that team.
Yeah, Donald's the problem.
I just think that Donald is so good, man, and like it could be a voter fatigue thing for him too, where we start like, okay, and I think, too, that now that the defense, I think, has taken a step back, actually, which is why I'm not as high on my team, because we're losing guys because we're having to pay these stellar, single players. I think that he's going to draw so much attention that he's almost going to be neutralized as much as anybody can neutralize one of the best defensive
And he's
players to
still
ever
good.
play the game.
He's still good. 15 sacks.
Yeah,
Right.
so,
He's going to have a down year and only have 15 sacks.
Exactly, and that's the thing. He's going to have a down year numbers-wise, but it's going to take a giant sports nerd to be like, well, according to this year, he's been the highest blocked player in the last 30 years.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, someone's going to have to come out with some crazy stats that no one ever talks about for him to get it this year. But
Yeah, he's the one guy that I'll rewatch a lot of the games throughout the season, and I'll just focus on him every play he's on the field. And when you do that, it's his hand movement, his technique, his leverage. It's unbelievable what he does on a football.
And
And he
he's the best
played
defensive player in
college
Madden.
ball at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Right.
He's the
He
best
didn't-
defensive player in Madden, by the way, too, because he's unstoppable in Madden.
Yeah.
You can't block him.
He's the man. He's the man.
I got Nick Bosa. I think
Oh,
Nick
wow.
Bosa
Okay,
is
cool.
just, he's just phenomenal. He just gets after it, man. And San Francisco, like you said, I think they're gonna have success again. I think it's gonna be predicated on a guy like a Nick Bosa.
Joey Bosa, too, man. I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised, too. Like, he just
Yeah.
got
Oh yeah.
blazed.
With Los Angeles, yeah. With the Chargers.
both-
Chargers.
I wouldn't be surprised if both Bosa brothers and both Watt brothers are in the top, 5
Yeah,
Right.
you're right.
in the voting. So.
Right.
The one thing Joey
Right.
has going against him is San Francisco is just not built to help him succeed. He you know what? He does have. I can't. they just
Ingram,
paid-
Melvin Ingram.
Yeah, he does have Ingram, which is great. But just like Steven alluded to, the second San Francisco's defense is built to allow those guys to go in and do their job.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah.
They're
dream.
so deep at that
so
defensive.
deep in
You
the
know,
position.
They just
Armstead,
drafted dude, too.
Solomon Thomas.
Armstead, Solomon
Think about it.
Thomas.
Solomon Thomas was a top 3 pick, and he's a rotational player.
Yeah.
Right.
My favorite player on our team is Fred Warner. That's my.
Fred
he's one of
Warner.
my-
He's
Yeah,
probably
Fred
the best.
Warner,
He's
yeah.
probably the best linebacker in football.
I-
That no one else talks about. That no one talks about.
That no one talks about. Yes.
yeah.
Boston
Yeah.
just won 111-89 NBA. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Hey. Yeah.
That's my team.
They could have won the series if they played some damn defense.
0.5
Right.
seconds, it would be over.
Right. Yeah. Shout out to Taco.
Poor
For doing
Taco.
nothing. He's
Being tall for no reason.
He's literally
Right.
7'4", and then his arms are 8'9", and he couldn't do nothing on that play. And Kyle Lowry's 6 foot. Come on now.
Everything had to
Right.
go perfect for that. Whatever, I'm done.
It literally was
Yeah.
like you're right. Everything went perfect. Not to get off track. But that, it really went
Yeah.
it still bothers me that play. It just bothers me.
Right. So, Steven, who was your defensive player of the year? I know we already talked. We already
Are we doing
we
rookie?
already discussed it. Yeah, let's do our offensive rookie. Yeah, that's right.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of Kansas City. I think that he's going to be the guy, and it's going to be a lot of team success reason. I think that you're going to see a lot of the same things that Kareem Hunt did with this team before he went crazy and had to get cut, and now he's with Cleveland, not really doing much. I think that you're going to see a lot of that offensive creativity with, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who, by all accounts, was the best running back in this draft. And for some reason,
Ooh, easy.
Oh,
Easy.
I'm saying,
Okay.
by all accounts, he's one of, if not the best. I'll walk it back, but I think that he was good enough to.
He almost
He was
came
the-
over the screen and was attacking.
He was the first one selected. He was the first one selected
Yes.
in Kansas, and it was the position to need offensively for Kansas City, and that's one of the best offensive teams of all times, and they selected Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So that's why I'm saying that I think that he's going to fit them schematically really well, kind of like that Kareem Hunt style. And I think that there's going to be other guys available. You're going to have all these wide receivers that are getting picked up by all these teams, and I'm sure y'all are going to talk about them. I went with the running back because I think it's easier in the NFL now for a young running back to come in and make a big impact for a team, and that's why I went with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
Love the guy, by the way.
Chris, who you got?
I had Clyde Edwards-Helaire literally the whole day until maybe like 10 minutes ago, and I'm going with Joe Burrow. Listen, if he
It's
plays
Joe
16 games, he's a quarterback. He's gonna win
Exactly.
it. He's gonna win it. And listen, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I love him. I think he's gonna be great he's perfect for that system. They need a back like him. He's perfect. I think he's gonna put up a great season. But if Joe Burrow, let's say he throws for 22 to 25 touchdowns, and they go above their win total from last year. They win 2-3 games last year. They win 5 games. He has some
That's gonna
late
be
game
so tough.
heroics. It's going to be tough, but
He's got a receiver to throw to, though. He's got a receiver.
He's got Boyd. He's got AJ Green supposedly healthy. Maybe they get something out of John Ross. They got a
kick return.
They got
T. Higgins.
They got T Higgins, and they got the wide receiver from
Cole.
Florida State, the Tate. So they got some guys. They got Mixon in the backfield. So he has weapons to throw to. Obviously, everything else, the defense and it needs work. But
Offensive
I'm going to give it to Joe Burrow, and I think he'll do enough to get it. And he's a quarterback, so quarterbacks, they're going to get.
That's a really good point. That's a really.
It's
good
a quarterback.
And he was the number one pick.
He was the number one.
It's going to mean a lot to the narrative.
Exactly, and that's why I literally changed it in the last 10 minutes. I was like, I had Clyde's over the whole day, and I'm like, wait, Joe Burrow's a quarterback.
I'm
Even
still
if he
riding
has
with Clyde.
20 touchdowns to 15 interceptions, he'll probably still win it because he was the number one pick, and he's gonna have a better season than whatever happened last year. So I'll give it to Joe Burrow.
I hate that reason, but you're right.
I hate it. It's a dumb reason. It's a dumb reason. But guess what? The NFL,
it is what it is.
It is. Quarterbacks are the. That's what it is. That's what quarterbacks are.
It is what it is.
Jeff.
Yeah, I think Burrow's going to win it for everything we just said, and there is something to being a quarterback though. There is a lot on your plate. I love Akers, Dobbins, Hilaire. All those running backs are going to have great years. There's receivers just everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
One of these rookie receivers is going to be an All-Pro in the right situation. Him and a quarterback's going to make a connection. I mean. Those positions you can step right into. I just everything we just said. Burrow's going to win it because it's just set up for him to win it as a
exactly like he would have to be like Achilles Smith bad something.
But
like
I gotta say, both
to not win it, like he's got to be like Jared Goff year one bad. Like
I think Dobbins and Hilaire both got drafted to perfect situations for them to succeed. And that's my wife's favorite player, and it went to her favorite team. That was one of the best NFL draft moments in my household in a long time. We love JK around here for good reasons. So
he's a good football player, man. He's a hell of a football player.
Oh yeah.
Steal for the Ravens.
Nice spot for him.
Yeah, and I do like Claire. You know what's so crazy about him? He could be like the next Brian Westbrook in his Andy Reid offense.
They're going to use him in that role,
right? And that's the scary thing about them getting that guy at such a low at that rate.
What
one of the most underrated running backs ever, by the way.
Correct.
He went to Villanova.
What a great football
He
player.
went to
That's a
Villanova.
basketball school.
That's a basketball school. They barely have a football team.
And I don't think he's going to take L's like former LSU running backs in the past. So I think he's going to be good. The guy who I think is going to be the offensive rookie of the year in this robust wide receiver class, Jerry Jeudy, Denver Broncos.
Okay.
I think he's going to be there.
Throwing on the ball?
Yeah, I mean potentially. I mean, I look at that too,
He's so good.
He's good, and that's one thing too. I like him. It's like this wide receiver core to me is just like amazing to me. Like
I mean, it was the deepest
Ayuk
I've ever.
out of San Francisco.
I thought about that too,
Brandon
right? And
Ayuk,
I'm like, if I'm gonna put my head out there and be like, look, a guy who I think is gonna really make an immediate impact is gonna be Jerry Jeudy. I think and then also Hamler is gonna be a good. That's be a nice core there, and it's probably gonna be a lot predicated on the running game as well.
Henry Ruggs too, and
Henry Ruggs in Las Vegas, and I think even CeeDee Lamb is gonna ball.
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb's gonna eat.
I've heard that CeeDee Lamb is the best receiver in Dallas camp.
I ain't surprised.
He may start as their second.
Right.
He might get over Gallup, and Gallup's freaking good too.
Hey, Gallup, trust me, yeah. Don't leave him on the alley, because Lord knows Josh Norman got crisped on a couple plays.
The problem is that they play in Dallas. Like that's the problem. If you had that receiving core anywhere else,
right, and that's the thing. Well, that's one thing too. Yeah. So, defensive rookie of the year.
I mean,
this was tough.
Extremely tough. I'm gonna go with you first, Jeff.
We mentioned him briefly, and we got back to him. I finally decided this was a tough one, but I finally decided on Derek Brown for the same reasons that Bosa can win the Player of the Year. He can put up the stats. He can jump off the screen. If he gets the sack, everybody's gonna know who he is, and just like Bosa did last year, and his brother did a couple years ago. But obviously Isaiah Simmons was on my list too. Somebody's gonna pick him, but that was a tough one. But just for the same reasons that. They don't give it out based on watching the whole game and what a guy does. They're gonna give it a rookie's gonna have 10.5 sacks. They're gonna give it.
That's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, who you got?
This was tough. It came down to me for two guys, but I'm going to pick Patrick Queen over Kenneth Murray.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
Yeah, because he's gonna get every opportunity to get all the tackles. You know, he's the guy there. He's gonna take over the middle. You know, for Baltimore, a good Baltimore team. You know, I think he'll get the recognition because of the win. They're gonna win a ton of football games. He's gonna have over 100 tackles. You know, he could rush the passer a little bit. You know, he could do some stuff. Kenneth Murray too was tough. It was tough. I think Kenneth Murray because he's gonna get probably way more tackle chances because the Chargers I don't think are gonna be that good this year. But to me, I'll go Patrick Queen. I'll go Patrick Queen because he's gonna be on a good football team, and to me. Yeah, he was the best linebacker in this draft. He could do everything. He's special. So I'm gonna go. And the Ravens just produce linebackers like crazy. Like
Dude, it's insane.
It's a focal point of their defense.
Right.
That's actually
they're
linebacker you in the pros.
They're linebacker
Yeah.
you. Man.
Yes,
they just
indeed.
produce linebackers like they're. So I
CJ
think
Mosley left and they
CJ
still
Mosley,
did. Yeah.
CJ Mosley
Right.
left, and they thought that would be home. Bam! They go get Patrick Queen. So I think
Exactly.
he's defensive rookie of the year.
Who you got, Steven?
I mean, those are all great names. I went with Chase Young, though, because I think that he's going to be the focal point of, for your team. I'm not going to – I mean, I don't want to steal too much of your shine. Like, I wouldn't call you a homer, though, if you picked him because Ron Rivera is a great defensive mind. We've been saying that this whole time when we were criticizing his offense and the reason why –
He had Julius Peppers, man. That's a
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that that's going to be a tailor-made marriage between Ron Rivera and Chase Young. I think he's a great first coach for him. Hopefully, they figure it out and he's his only coach, for his entire NFL career. But I mean, even if Rivera has to move on or whatever, or take a step back and be the D coordinator, I think I think he's going to do great work with Chase Young. I think that he's just a hyper-athletic freak on the outside. He's going to get after the quarterback, and they're going to do a great job with the other pass rushers that they have.
Yeah,
on that
Montez
team
Sweat. They got Allen
Yep.
Kerrigan still.
Yes.
Yep. So, and that's the thing is like
Ioannidis.
he's not going to be the only guy that the offense has to focus on blocking. So,
He's gonna get a lot of single teams.
yep, I think that he's going to benefit very well off of that, and I think that you're going to see a big year from him defensively.
It wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah, call me a homer, but yeah, Chase Young. I mean, he's looked fantastic in practice. Thank God,
Almost forget
Dwayne.
he's a rookie.
Right. Thank
built
God
like a
they have a
freaking
red
tank,
jersey on
bro.
Dwayne Haskins because Dwayne Haskins would have been crushed by now.
Barbecue chicken alert.
Well, the Giants are they allowed to hit Daniel Jones apparently. So
Really?
Well, it's
Joe
because
Judge-
in New York you gotta be tough. You have to do things the right
Joe
way.
Judge wants our quarterback to die, and he wants to get fired already. So
Right.
Y'all's
But yeah, I mean, it was amazing seeing him in practice. But yeah,
0-16 Giants.
Chase Young, absolutely. Final award, the Coach of the Year. Jeff, who you got?
I think it's Cliff Kingsbury.
okay.
They never give it to the best.
Ooh.
We know they don't give it to the winning
Yeah.
coach.
It's like the NBA. They rarely.
I should-
do
I
that.
should-
You can go 16-0 and you cannot get the.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
took credit.
yeah.
I gave these all away to who I think can win them. I don't think he's the best coach or whatever, but
Yeah.
I think that they'll have a good looking season. The offense will be good, and they're going to give him all the credit for the offense. I think Murray takes the next step, and that's it's going to reflect, and it should. It's going to be because of him. If this team is fun to watch, and then going into next year, they're picked to make the playoffs. It's going to be Cliff Kingsbury.
That's a good selection, man. I like that.
Yeah. Who you got, Chris?
I got Sean McDermott.
Whoa.
I almost
guess
went
so.
McDermott.
Yes.
I think
Buffalo.
I think they take that next level. Like I mean, last year, like you said, they almost beat the Texans last year. If they just if Josh Allen can get his accuracy where and it helps having Diggs now.
He's
Yeah,
super young still. Like that's the
He's
thing.
still
People got to
young.
pump the brakes on their criticism with Allen. He's a young cat.
He's
dude.
still getting better. Listen, when he was at Wyoming, he had no talent around him. Like you can say all you want, like he didn't complete. He had no talent. at
But
Wyoming.
when you're at Wyoming, you also don't play against
I was
talent.
gonna say he was
Exactly.
also the quarterback of Wyoming.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
so
what I'm
he gets
saying.
no
Like
competition.
he gets no good. So like I think he's going to progress. I really liked him coming out of Wyoming. I'm big on him. I wish the Giants would have took him, but that's a whole nother story. But John McDermott, he's a tremendous coach. The defense is going to be great. I think they could take another level defensively. They could possibly be the best defense.
I was going to say they're going to be real good if they take another step.
I think they could have the best defense in football. And then if Allen keeps getting better, which he's shown he's getting better. He has legs. He has
They got a
big arm.
weapon at wideout.
They have
now.
listen. Dawson Knox, I think, is an ascending tight end. They got Singletary, Moss. Like I said before when I talked about the Bills, all those things. I think the Bills are just gonna. They could possibly take that next step and be take that next step and get to a possible conference championship game. I think that's very possible. I would not be surprised if I see the Bills in the conference championship game. So, I'm going with Sean McDermott as the head coach.
So real quick, while we're talking about that, when you watched the Bills last year, did Allen look like a guy who's just on his way up, or did he look like a guy who is? So you guys think he's on his way up?
I think there's fair criticism that
he's not bulletproof.
but he also didn't have a whole lot of weapons to work with. Like his tight end was a rookie. He had John
the
Brown.
second best option.
John Brown is
back.
literally just one. Is just a deep threat.
Yeah, he's
but now you
a
have Stephon Diggs, who's a route runner who can help him out in those things.
Yes, sir.
with timing routes and all that. I think that's a huge addition. And they got Cole Beasley too.
But nobody. Another thing about last year too, the AFC East and New England was a big benefit of this. They had the easiest schedule. They had the easiest schedule. Like New England, if you look, their first 11 games were almost couldn't lose.
That's why the defense looked so good because they were playing.
It did help. So
Yes.
you wonder how much Buffalo benefited too. So we'll find out. I mean,
We'll find out. But I don't know. I like the makeup of the team. The defense to me. Listen, you got hard-nosed defense. Tre'Davious White is a tremendous corner. I just like this football team a lot.
okay.
Yeah. Who you got, Steven?
I got a different guy, but just real quick to piggyback off of what Prez was just saying. It's also going to be a huge narrative thing, too, if the Bills win this division for the first time over the Patriots. That's going to be a big
If they win the division for
If
the
they
first
win the
time
division,
in
25 years.
In
It's
25
95.
That's going to be
They went to the Super Bowl.
the historical aspect of it is
Yeah.
going to be a big part, the narrative.
Right.
But
You're right. It's definitely gonna help.
if the AFC South plays out the way that I see it going, and the Colts go, 11-5,
Yeah.
10-6, somewhere in there,
Yeah,
I
you
think
got
Frank
Frank
Wright. I think Frank Wright is going to be coach of the year. Kind of like what Jeff was just saying. It never really goes to the. It's not going to be Pete Carroll. If Seattle does what they're expected to do,
Right.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be Andy Reid.
Not going to go to Harbaugh.
Yeah, it's not
Right,
gonna
the
go to
consistent ones, the consistent winners.
Andy
It's-
Reid's not going to win it.
It's not going to be
Right.
Sean
It's always
Payton.
Belichick. It won't be Belichick.
It's always a team
Unless
that comes out of
Belichick,
nowhere.
like,
Unless, yeah.
Hey,
Unless
but
they
that's-
get like
that's still won't give
to
it
the
to him.
to the playoffs, and,
Right.
like, make some noise. It may be Belichick, but I
Yeah,
think
'cause-
I think Frank Wright though. It's kind of one of those things where like the Colts have the potential because they have one of, if not the best offensive lines in the NFL. They have a great running back in Marlon Mack, who I think is going to be elevated this year.
Jonathan Taylor too is another guy.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor,
From Wisconsin.
Yep, and then they got
Never heard of him.
Philip Rivers is going to.
He's not
Phillip-
JK.
Philip Rivers he's a decent quarterback. Like, let's not. I'm not singing overly amount of praises his way, but he's a talented quarterback still. He's top
he's
three
a
decent
interceptions.
quarterback.
He's a capable guy, right? I almost wish they would have. Never mind. But anyway, I think that if it breaks down the way that I see it in the AFC South, I could easily see it going to Frank Wright.
It makes sense.
Yeah. I got and then going back to you guys' point where they're never going to give it to guys who consistently win. It's going to be the guy who has like the surprising season that comes out of nowhere. I got Dan Quinn, Atlanta Falcons.
I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if he's 11-5, I think Dan
Yeah,
Quinn is going to
But I
win
could also
this.
see him getting fired too. So like he's in that.
Correct, right, correct.
He could either
He's
be
in that.
fired or
He's in that rare air. He's a Dwayne Casey of the NFL.
that's a very he could win it and then get fired.
Yeah, he's the Dwayne Casey.
Right, you can go fired.
He's the Dwayne Casey of the NFL.
Congratulations, coach.
There's a
You'll
lot
be
of-
getting.
You should be able to find another job with that award.
Hey, what's so funny?
nice old
Yeah, and Right, and he'll get that award the night before the Super Bowl, and he might have a job at him somewhere else.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Another
Yeah, I have
candidate,
them 10-6. I mean,
Potential.
none of these
Yeah.
options I
It
think are out of the
wouldn't be
question.
surprising if they make the playoffs.
If Cleveland
Right.
if Cleveland makes the playoffs, that they're good.
Yeah.
Oh, Stefanski. Yes, Stefanski. So, fellas, our final topic of we saved the best for the last. Who will make the Super Bowl and who will win? Jeff, I got you on the hot seat first, brother.
I've got.
Jeff.
I'm sticking to it. I think it's everything's lining up this year from Mahomes and the Chiefs. I think if the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, I think they win it over Seattle. I've got Mahomes versus
Ooh.
Russell Wilson and one of the greatest Super Bowls ever played. I hope. I'm really high on Seattle, and I think it's just a Chiefs special year. I think everything's Chiefs this year. Just like New England's had a couple of those years in the past where it was just like, nope, just stay out of the way. And I think this
Yeah,
is
you're
Kansas
getting
City.
steamed.
But I really think this is Russell Wilson's. He's just going to run up against one of the better teams that we've ever seen. Is my prediction.
Chris,
Kansas City.
This
what
was
you
tough.
got?
This was tough. For me, the Ravens come out of the AFC. The NFC was tough for me. The NFC is tough for me. I wanted to go with TB12 and the Bucks, but I have them losing to the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game, and the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl, and the Ravens holding the Lombardi Trophy.
Wow.
And
Hot take, man.
overcoming last year's
You just became my wife's favorite player.
and the Baltimore Ravens behind defensive rookie of the year, Patrick Queen, and Lamar Jackson and them boys. The depth of this team is crazy. Like I said, adding Calais Campbell is another great
That's
piece
a
to
big.
that
That's a big ad.
So, Earl Thomas, people might think of that as a big loss. He wasn't that good last year, and there's a reason why they cut him. But besides all the BS that he dealt with, he wasn't that good last year. He was not Earl Thomas, Seattle Earl Thomas.
He was a huge problem.
So, I just think they're going to overcome all those obstacles. Lamar Jackson is improving. He's looked good in camp. He said Hollywood Browns and take that next step. Mark Andrews is great. They have a four-headed running monster at running back. They have, the offensive line is good.
How often do you hear that, a four-headed running back?
Four-headed monster.
Yeah, four
They can
horsemen
look-
and running backs.
Four horsemen are running back. And the offensive line is still good even without Yonda. I think the Ravens overcome. They beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. And Lamar Jackson, Super Bowl MVP.
Steven, who you got?
I mean, I don't mean to copy Jeff, but I mean, you saw my notes before this. I had the Chiefs and the Seahawks. I have, the MVP, Russell Wilson, playing against the best team in the league for this year as far as record and talent goes, and the Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs get it. I think that picking anybody other than the Chiefs, you're like counting against what we're already seeing being proven to be true with Kansas City. They have the best offense in the NFL with one of the best offensive minds coaching, and then another great offensive mind being the assistant coach. I think that Bieniemy is gone next year. Like, if he doesn't get a job next year, like there needs to be like an FBI investigation into the ownership of the NFL.
Bieniemy's going to be coaching the Chiefs next year.
He needs to be coaching somewhere. But anyway, I think that the Chiefs are too deep. They're too talented. You added offensive rookie of the year in my eyes and Edwards-Helaire. You got the reigning MVP. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to Mahomes again this year. And he'll be Finals MVP again. And if he retires after winning next year, if Jeff is right and he's MVP, and we're both right and he's Finals MVP, he could retire next year and be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's pushing it already.
Yeah, right.
He could be,
His stats are insane.
He's on the line right now in his third season. Next year, if it happens again, he could retire as a first ballot Hall of Famer next year.
Yeah. You know what I find funny about all this? It feel like we're all a split. So, who I have the Ravens versus the Saints in the Super Bowl. And like Chris LeBron, the two Chris's picked the Baltimore Ravens to win the Super Bowl. My Beltway brethren.
That's that Beltway pick. I see that.
Yeah, the Beltway brethren of Washington,
NFC
Baltimore.
sticking together.
I think the Ravens gonna win. I think they're gonna overcome this, them losing in the first round. And I think that was just, to me, I think that was a mirage. I think that's gonna make them hungrier. Because I mean, think about it. A team that was 14-2 last year, you got to think to yourself, if we would have made a run, okay, we would have been a little laissez-faire. Now it's like we got stuff to prove. We're 14-2. Like, we're too good and we're too deep in certain positions where it's like,
better.
hey, and they got better, and not right, and that's the thing.
Better.
And
So
and
the Chiefs.
true, but to me, I look at it like, and I think the thing that's going to hurt the Chiefs, I think, is everybody's going to get their best effort, so they're going to be a little let off, per se. But I like this Ravens team, and to me, it's the motivation, especially for like a guy like Lamar, because now I'm looking at Mahomes. He's getting this big deal. He's won a Super Bowl. He's doing. And everybody's counting me out already. And I'm like, hey, we're on the same level. So it's just like
he was the best quarterback.
I'm a league MVP.
I don't knock him at all. I think that he's right up there too with Deshaun Watson.
He was unanimous MVP.
Right.
Though, right?
Right. And that's the thing where you think about it. They're on the same trajectory. Like, okay, Mahomes won he won an MVP. Fell short in the playoffs, disappointing fashion. Same thing go for Lamar. Lamar lost in extremely disappointing fashion against Tennessee last year. And he was coming up as being the youngest MVP. And the crazy thing about it, he's the youngest MVP in NFL history and still has the biggest chip on the shoulder. And that's going to carry over in this year. That's what's scary about Lamar. That's really ultimately the scariest thing, where it's like, okay, well, this guy, he still has something to prove, even in this short time. Even
I like how you put the Saints in the Super Bowl and didn't talk about them overcoming obstacles at all.
True, and that's the thing, right? And they're the ones too where you got to think about it. And I kind of alluded to it a little bit, during the preview, where this is it for them. I mean, you got because essentially Brees to be 42 before this. If he goes to Super Bowl in January, well, I think he'd be 42 in January. 42, I think, in January. So if it gets get there in February, he's 42. This team, you got to think about the Sean Payton dynamic. That's what it's like 15 years deep. Mm-hmm. Now it's like it's a make or break.
Super Bowl to show for it.
Right, and it's in the 15-year period, which is good because we got to think about it. The Saints were the Aints. Mm-hmm. So
they're always in the picture.
They're always in the picture, and that's the beauty thing about them.
And
I think right, and now this is their opportunity where in a loaded division, they got something to even prove too. That's another thing too, where both teams have tremendous weight on their shoulders, and one of them going to overcome it, and then and once again, I think New Orleans is going to have another heartbreak, and I think this could be the final heartbreak of this franchise.
If they make the Super Bowl, though, I think everybody stays.
Oh yeah, they
Even
come
if
back.
Lose the Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, but then this, you got to think about it. That's 4 different like crushing.
I don't know if it's definite that Brees would come back. He was on the fence this year.
That's true.
Yeah.
Saints get screwed everywhere, Brendan. I mean,
you're gonna know.
Yeah,
the
last 3 years. We talked about that earlier. The last 3 years they've been screwed.
And you're gonna know right away. You're gonna know right away about the Ravens how good Lamar is. Or how he's gonna play this year.
From the jump.
It's gonna show up. And if in the first couple of weeks you see advancement in that offense, not necessarily him, then you can pencil him in for the championship game. But
right.
But like I said about the Saints, man, the home field advantage is gone.
All of it's gone. And see,
we went too long. We'll talk about it on another show because I want to ask everybody about not having fans and how that is going to affect. Because we're about to get into
teams like that,
football and NFL football,
and we'll talk. Yeah, we're definitely on. Yeah, absolutely. So, fellas, I definitely appreciate everybody coming tonight for our NFL preview. So we'll go around the horn. Let's just talk about your podcast. Just do some promos. Steven, you go first, brother.
Yes, sir. So for everybody who doesn't know, Stephen Gillespie. I co-host the Breaking the Game podcast. Almost said the Off the Ball podcast. Wow.
You stole my podcast.
I stole your podcast while you weren't looking.
Podcast thief.
I knew that was you.
This was your first show in a while. I was wondering when you were gonna get busy, but nah, I'm just playing, man. But
It really has. I haven't done the podcast in a while.
I know, man. But I co-host the Breaking the Game podcast with Austin Carr. Brought him on. He's doing a phenomenal job. Obviously I write for the Off the Ball Network, the offtheballnetwork.com, and I have a lot of NBA stuff up there is what I really focus on. Even though I know enough about the NFL to hold my weight in a conversation, I'm even more so heavy into the NBA. And I just put up a piece the other day about the Glue Guy of the Year, which I thought was just a cool way to reward unsung heroes in the NBA.
Yeah. Chris Prez.
Yes, Chris LeBron, host of Off the Ball podcast. I just did my first audio podcast, and the first one I did in a while. I've been doing a lot of these live streams, which has been absolutely fun doing it with you guys and all that. But I just had Rafael Barlow on the show. He hosts the NBA Draft Junkies YouTube channel and all that. He's the founder of that. He's a scout and all that. And I just had him on the show literally right before I hopped on with you guys. I just finished with him. So that's going to be coming up. That's a really fun interview I did with him, and that's going to be fun. His YouTube channel. It's if you love NBA draft stuff, go to his channel, NBA Draft Junkies. He has I think almost 15,000 followers on YouTube. If you want content for NBA draft, you go there. But follow me on all podcast platforms. I'm on every podcast platform, also YouTube. Like I said, go follow me on social media, Off the Ball Pod. You can find that Off the Ball Network. Listen guys, I say this every time, it's doing great. it's doing great. You guys are killing it with articles and stuff, and everyone doing their shows. It's been great. I've gone, like I said, Couch. My buddy of mine who I was with yesterday, he was like, "Yo, that guy Couch, I love the beard. I love everything, man." He's like a big Couch fan. He's a big Couch fan.
Oh man, that's amazing, man.
He remembers you from the North Carolina days.
He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I remember he was on Sacramento, man. I used to love him on Sacramento." He used to be a point forward, man. 30 and 30.
Him and Libby were unstoppable.
Yeah, he was unstoppable with the Sacramento Kings. It's dope when people that you wouldn't expect hit you, tell you like, "Yo, I love people's work," and it's just it's dope. But follow follow the Off the Ball Network on social media, OTB_network on Twitter, Off the Ball Network on Instagram, and like I said, go to offtheballnetwork.com and check out the articles that are being written. Check out all the podcasts. Everyone's links are on there, so if you want to check those things out, go do that. But everyone's doing tremendous so far, so it's can't complain.
Jeff.
Yeah, man, for sure. Thanks for having me on, Coach. This is a lot of fun as usual. Jeff Needs Sports. I've kind of is the sports contest going on right now. Football season's kicking up, and that's kind of my wheelhouse. So starting this week, I'll have preview shows of weekend games coming up. All these guys will be on there in and out for sure. I do reviews, of the games, from the past weekend, and I try to pick out a few things, that maybe don't show up in the stat sheets or don't show up on SportsCenter. I try to dig into some of the stats a little bit and things like that. But from now on, I'll be doing 2 to 3 shows a week, live shows. So Jeff Needs Sports. It's on all the platforms. You'll see me on here. Please go to the Off the Ball Network and check out what we're writing. So, it's some really good stuff on there. The guys are doing great. We have a lot of top 10 lists and progressive power rankings and stuff coming up through the year. So, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget to follow the podcast, Couch Coach Live. We actually will do a show tomorrow night. It'll be me, my co-host Malwood will be on tomorrow night. Talk about the NBA. Also, check out the website, couchcoachlive.com. Also, check out the podcast. We just did an interview with Sean Robinson, a sports anchor in my hometown, Richmond, Virginia, and that was a real good interview. And then also just check out previous work. Also, the voice of the Carolina Tar Heel football and basketball, Jones Angel. Mute him. Let's log him off. But anyway, no. But yeah, man, it's
LeBron has left the chat.
yeah. And once again, it's great. Gonna do a overreaction Monday, and I would love for you guys to be a part of it. Like we do, like we say, like a rotation, and like saying Jeff, we talked about stuff, and we the pod father, we call him. He's our Bill Simmons. So
Hey.
he's our Bill Simmons. So he's the creative one behind it all, and get us all together and what have you.
He's the head of graphic designing and stuff.
Yes, he's the creative brains behind the projects.
He's what's that called? The head chief, the chief operating officer, the head of creatives.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So definitely appreciate you fellas taking time out of your last day of summer to do this NFL podcast with us. And
Summer's over.
yeah, man. So we definitely appreciate you guys, and definitely thanks everybody who chimed in, comments, and everything. But this has been this year's 2020 NFL preview, powered by the Off the Ball Network. And we signing off, fellas.
Much love, everybody.
Guys.
Yes, indeed.
Be safe.